I believe I should have got a job at the UN being a translator. Big Silz National Football Show. We appreciate you here, and we are absolutely packed for the next 4 hours. And I want to line the guys up here for you, okay? In the 3:30 hour, we're going to have the legendary Wayne Laravey, the voice of the Green Bay Packers, join us. And we'll talk Packers Monday night. Eagles and Packers. He is the Merrill Reese of the Green Bay Packers. So we will talk to him. And of course, at 4:30, we will have Battle Royale. And I was watching Mark Holmes the other night, and he was absolutely in tears, and he was falling to pieces. But then I happen to agree with Xander, and I disagree with John McMullen. I think the Williams trade for the Cowboys made them better, and I think that's going to help them potentially try to make a playoff push. It made them better. I don't know so much about the Cincinnati Bengals making them better at linebacker, but I do think the Cowboys got better. They added 2 guys in the interior to make their run defense better. The Cowboys are a train wreck when it comes to stopping the run. So they addressed it. They got better. They got Kenny Clark in the middle now. And they've got Quinion Williams in the middle. And I think, by the way, Jalen Carter is not a better player than him. He's not played that at all in any way this year to that level. He has not played Pro Bowl football so far this year. I don't give a shit what anybody says. He just hasn't. So we will talk with our guys at 4:30. And billionaire and legendary man and friend John Morgan will join us at 5:30. And we will talk with John of a collection of things in sports, most notably what's going on in college football, also the NFL. May he be in the mix to buy a minority share of an NFL team? Could that be your favorite team? So we will talk to John Morgan. I think he's fishing around for a minority share in an NFL football team. So we will talk to John. That'll be at 5:30. Xander will fit him in, obviously. Always a great segment with our friend. Please hit the like button, and we thank you very much. By the way, right out of the gate, okay, you got to love post-trade comments and commentary by people in Philadelphia and really people around the National Football League and the national media. I have never seen more coverage of a trade that never happened. If a guy was not being traded, why all the coverage? Why all the questions about A.J. Brown? And for the record, Howie Roseman never denied it. It was a lawyer's answer. Never at any time. I heard the question. I went back and listened to the interview that Howie gave to the media. He never at any time addressed that they didn't field calls and the potential of moving him. Here's what happened. In my opinion, the deal wasn't right. Your own owner said it to Diana Rossini a couple weeks ago. We will always do what's in the best interest of the Philadelphia Eagles, whatever that looks like. Your own owner told you no deal's off the table. You don't want to hear that. That's what went on. The Philadelphia Eagles were fielding calls. By the way, you don't have to put A.J. Brown out for a potential deal. You do not. You do not have to put that out there for him to have a potential deal. You don't. All you have to do is take phone calls, because then you can say this: we never shopped him. Teams were calling for him. That's why Howie never addressed that. Okay? Again, those deals, in my opinion, just like the Cleveland Browns. Hey, get this. Let me ask you something. Just to put this thing in proper perspective, okay? Let me put this in, and look at this guy here. A total dick who doesn't get it. So wait, let me ask you something. So I get it. Here's a typical dude that doesn't want to hear the truth. It was confirmed that Howie Roseman offered 3 number ones for Myles Garrett. Yes or no? Yes or no? It's been confirmed that Howie offered 3 number ones for Myles Garrett, right? Pat, then why wouldn't a team and another team like the Buccaneers offer a 1, 2, and 3 for AJ? Why wouldn't that be a plausible thing? What, do you think these rules apply to Howie and you don't want to use a metric? Howie Roseman put out that he wanted Micah Parsons on the team, correct? Okay. So other teams offering draft picks for A.J. Brown is out of the possibility? I mean, guys, how stupid can you be that you think that only applies to one side of a conversation? It's because, guess why? That's the most of you that what you want to do is you want to trade Tanner McKee and Joshua Uche and 2 ones for Micah Parsons or for Myles Garrett and think that's the deal that you're going to get done. That is ridiculous. ESPN brought it up during the trading deadline. The host asked Adam, and he said, there's no way the Eagles are trading him. Do you want me to tweet that? Bro, I never said that Myles Garrett or A.J. Brown, the Eagles wanted to trade. That's not what I said. Once again, Prince, not listening. I didn't say they wanted to trade him. I just said other teams called for the availability of A.J. Brown. The same way that Howie Roseman offered 3 ones up for Myles Garrett. Same way. Get this. You see what Prince is saying to you? I'm not trading him. Yet Howie offered 3 ones for Myles Garrett. Yeah, okay, Prince. Somehow that doesn't make sense, Prince. Your boy, hold on here, Prince. Your boy offered it up. I'm telling you what happened too. Hey, dude, I talked to GMs too. Okay? Prince, wait a minute. I just read what you fucking posted, dude. Get this. So wait a minute. Hey, Keith, your general manager offered 3 ones for Myles Garrett. But you don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that other teams called for AJ. Okay? I was watching ESPN when it happened. Ooh, because ESPN, God forbid, the Disney stepchild, you got it from ESPN. Hey, way to go, dude. You're plugged in. And how he told them all to get bent. Not true. Your owner said that's not true. Once again, dude, I'm repeating what your owner said. Your owner said, we are going to do what's in the best interest of our football team to make it better. Here's what happened. Nobody came with a deal that made the Eagles want to do it. Are you under the impression AJ's not tradable? You're out of your fucking minds. Myles Garrett, A.J. Brown are the same conversation. This is correct. And this is where Prince gets his information from. CNN. The CNN of sports. ESPN. Congratulations to you, kid. What Howie say since you talked to GMs? Bro, I told you flat out about Jaelan Phillips. I've been tweeting it out since last Wednesday. Chris Greer had to get fired, which happened. Drew Rosenhaus was talking to Clint Hurt, and the reason that they were all involved in it is because the D-line coach knows Jaelan Phillips, knows Drew Rosenhaus. Drew Rosenhaus represented him when he was a potential player, Clint Hurt. This all goes back to Drew Rosenhaus. In theory, Drew Rosenhaus got Chris Greer fired because nobody wanted to move any of the players in the building until the general manager was fired. Once the GM was fired, Rosenhaus's people became available for trade. That's what happened. Okay. I've known Drew Rosenhaus for 40 years. I think Miles is going to be on the team at some point. Howie wants him bad. Yeah, but the longer this goes on, the less the value of the player stays. He's probably going to win the NFL Defensive Player of the Year award this year again. Okay? He's probably going to win that. So, yes. By the way, Super Chats go to the top. Okay? Fuck ESPN. Those greedy bums, they really tried to force YouTube to bend the knee. Hey, man. But here's the one thing about ESPN and Disney. Yet they'll make you watch that shitty Jimmy Kimmel show, right? Okay. Drew Rosenhaus has a great relationship with the front office in Philly, it seems like. He has a wonderful relationship. He really likes Howie and how Howie moves the room and how Howie is always on the phone trying to make his football team better. Absolutely. Bro, Howie Roseman is the poster child of how you make your football team better, constantly calling teams to try to upgrade his roster. That's why he made all these deals. He upgraded the things that did not work in the first 6 months of the season. He went back and made 9 moves. That's your story. And like I said, the story here is that the general manager didn't sit on his hands. Okay? Get this. I don't give a shit if you respect me any of the time. I care you listen. Silz, I respect you most of the times, but you're trying too hard to be part of everything we do. Dude, I'm not part of anything you do. I'm part of what I do. And what I do is I talk to people. That's why fucking everyone comes on our program and never says no. And the only people that stop people from coming on the program is your favorite team. Because you know why? They don't want me to know what's going on, but they can't help it. That's why they stopped Merrill. That's why they stopped Sirianni. That's why they stopped Roseman from coming on the program. Use your brain, dude. I've not said anything in the time that I've covered their team, except for the time. Hey, by the way, Howie Roseman, prior to Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, sucked at edge rushers in the draft, sucked at cornerbacks in the draft, and sucked at linebacker. Facts. They didn't want to hear that. Well, it was true. Look at his draft history. They blew out loud at all of those positions. Blew out loud. Just blew out loud. The narrative moving forward should be Howie is the most aggressive, smartest. Listen, smartest means that the owner gives him the latitude to make you think he's smart. I'm not saying he's not, because he is. I'm grateful the Eagles have, yes. Okay? Santa Clara, we'll see. So wait a minute. You think he's the best GM? He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. The guy in Kansas City has 3, and the guy in Houston has 6. He's better than them? Is that right? And what metric are you using? What metric are you using? If you're using championships, that's not true. How is he the best when he doesn't have the resume that those guys have? He doesn't have more Super Bowl rings and appearances than Brett Veach. Consistency? I don't know. They've been in the AFC Championship game 7 years in a row. They've been to 5 Super Bowls in that 7 years. Where is he better than him? In what metric? What metric is he better than him? Help me out here. It's not winning. Drafting players? Really? Well, tell me, what metric are you using that he's better than Brett Veach in Kansas City? He doesn't win more. He hasn't won more titles. What's your metric? Your fandom? Okay, fair enough. Battle Royale, going to be insane. Market 500. We're beefing last night on live. Can't wait. Okay? Silz, I know how he fucked the defense, but I'm glad that he's not sitting on his mistakes. He's doing something about them. Well, we don't know if those mistakes have been fixed yet. We will see in the second half. Okay? Hilarious? It is hilarious. If you say Eagles are good in anything, Silz will I never said Howie Roseman wasn't one of the top general managers. I never said that. To say he's the best, based on what metric? Winning? Well, that's the guy in Kansas City. And you can't dispute it. His winning is more. They've been to 3 straight Super Bowls. They've won 3. They've been to the AFC title game 4 years in a row. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. I think if Denver and the Chargers keep winning games the way they have, and Denver's defense gets enough pressure to beat them twice, I think KC misses the playoffs. Kansas City can't afford more than 3 losses, 2 to 3 losses more, is what you're saying. Who won the trade deadline? Let me guess, the Eagles. Hey, by the way, the Eagles won the trading deadline, I'm sure of it, with Jair Alexander. I think actually Seattle may have won it. Okay? Let's see here. Silz, what do you think the floor and ceiling are for the edge group with Phillips, BG, Nolan, and Jalen Hunt? Put him in there. I think pretty good. I think they've clearly improved that room. By the way, I'm going to give you my midseason grades on all the players here in a minute. Okay? I'll do that. So championships and metrics matter now. No, I asked you about the general manager. What are you basing it on when it comes to your general managers don't play football? Okay? Howie Roseman has a different role than Jalen Hurts. Dan. Jalen Hurts plays one side of the fucking game. Howie builds both sides of the team. Use your brain, guy. Try it. Might help you. Fucking dummy. Veach has been lucky. Lucky. Oh, it's luck. 7 straight luck. Okay, it's luck now. Well, I think it's lucky then. Hold on here. Where was that? I think it's lucky that Howie has Jeffrey Lurie as an owner. Fair enough? Okay, thank you. Hey, Silz, do you think that maybe the Whales should have gone after Sauce Gardner? Dude, Sauce Gardner 2-1s? I think the Jets, I'm sorry. I think the Jets had a... Now, to Xander's point yesterday, just because you have a bounty of picks doesn't mean you know what you're doing with them, but they got a bounty of picks, and they're going to start all over again. Silz is stacked. Seattle stacked. Silz does. That means Cooper is not panning out. I think he's been injured off and on throughout the year so far. You know, I mean, he's been hurt a lot up there in Seattle. I think that's why they made that move for that wide receiver. Howie's ability to address mistakes, that's Jeffrey Lurie's ability to give him that. And be aggressive is his greatest skill. Yeah. But remember this, though, Samuel. Most general managers aren't given that latitude to correct mistakes. I don't know why everybody in Philly has a problem using the word mistakes this offseason. And you know what you guys cover it with? Can't pay everyone. Okay. Well, they were mistakes, the people you brought in. Bottom line, no fucking way around it. But they don't want to say that they were mistakes. Okay. Say whatever you want. They were mistakes. They're not not the mistakes on moving off of guys because you couldn't pay them. Everyone realizes that. The mistakes were the people you brought in. Those were the mistakes. And the owner allows him that latitude. I'm not telling you something you don't know. It's just something you don't want to hear. In life, if you have to fail before you succeed, Laurie put Roseman in the shed in 2015. Best thing that ever happened to him. Probably so. But I also say this. I don't think the owner gets enough credit. Instead of firing him, he saw something in him to keep him, because most people get fired and they're kicked out of the organization. They're not kept in the closet. That's not. Okay? That's a quality that Jeffrey Lurie should be given credit for. Silz, you're not wrong. Lurie gives Howie a long leash ever since Chip, and it's panned out. It has panned out. That, again, is kudos. Dude, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles has trust in your general manager so much that he's got a free wheel in the draft, free agency, and cutting contracts. Most of the time, the owner of a team, let's just take the Miami Dolphins, the owner of the team is already going to tell the new general manager, you're not moving off at the quarterback. Jeffrey Lurie's not going to say that. Howie Roseman moved off of Carson Wentz and ate $31 million in dead cap money. Remember? He had to sell that to the owner, and the owner went, okay. Well, what did those draft picks turn into? Didn't those draft picks turn into like Jalen Carter and Devontae Smith? Am I right? Am I wrong with that? I forget how that dynamic was. And, right? They turned into first-round picks. All right? Okay? Twiz, Sil's got dementia. He doesn't remember half the shit he says. No, you don't hear half the shit. No, you don't hear all the shit I say. Howie and Jeffrey deserve credit for his creativity in his contract negotiations. Again, that's the owner paying the money up front. Okay? When the owner goes like this, know this, JD. Jerry Jones doesn't do this. Let's pay the guys up front so we get the back end so we can move them later when they're older. That's the beauty of the Eagle contracts. Okay? That's the beauty of it. Because they pay up front, they get rid of you on the back end of your contracts. Same thing with Zach Bond. Zach Bond, at the end of his contract, the Eagles are going to be able to move off that dude because of the dead cap years, the voidable years, and they're going to be able to move off that guy if he's not productive. That's the beauty of the contracts. Well, you have to have the owner that's willing to put the bag of money up front. 95% of the owners are not spending money up front. They'd rather put that money on the back end, and that forces teams to have to cut players or move on from players. You see it all over the league. It's old school mentality. Howie's like, let's get the money up front, help us in the cap with the voidable years. We can move off these guys if they're not productive in the back end of their deals. We see it all the time in the league. Teams sign these 3-year deals, right? They don't give a shitload of signing bonus money. What happens? At the back end of the contract, you got to move the player because he's killing your cap. Not in Philly. That money diminishes because of the voidable years and the money you gave up front. That's why he can move players. Okay? And that's the owner, and that's the creativity of the GM. Working hand in hand, man. That's why they have latitude and maneuverability, because they make moves based on the money up front. And again, that's not that easy. You have the owner that's willing to do that and a GM that's creative enough to understand that. Why do you think the NFL Players Association is fighting to keep those voidable years? And the owners want to get rid of those because Howie uses those fake years on a guy's contract as ways to lessen the cap. They want to take those voidable years away from the Philadelphia Eagles because the Eagles and that owner give the money up front. That's what makes Roseman great. I'm not saying that Howie hasn't come up with that formula and Jeffrey had to buy into that formula. That's kind of what happened. But I also happen to agree that that was taught to him by R.C. Slocum of the San Antonio Spurs. Remember, when he went on that respite, and he was not in any way or shape involved with the direction of the Eagles in the Chip Kelly years. He was hanging around R.C. Slocum, who was at one time the president and general manager of the San Antonio Spurs. It was Buford. And those guys were hanging around, and he was telling them, get the money up front, give them the money up front, get out of those contracts. Remember something in the NBA? Those NBA contracts are guaranteed. Okay? Silz, who are the 5 best players on our defense right now in order? I'm going to go and I'm going to give you my midseason grades. And I think we'll be able to go and answer your question there, Stephen, as I give you my midseason grades for the team. Silz, let's say Phillips does well and gets a contract extension in Philly. Who gets cut? Nolan Smith. Okay? Nolan Smith will get cut. He's not reliable. Okay? He's not reliable. Silz, you think ever since they demoted Howie and gave Chip more power that Laurie's been scared to give coaches more control? I think ever since Doug Peterson got fired, that's been the case, yes. And remember something, too. Doug Peterson was the guy who was, involved in some type of personnel decisions when it came to the Jalen Reagor deal. And so Howie, in my opinion, he listens to players and he listens to some of his coaches, but the last line of defense for the owner on making paychecks and paying money out is the general manager. Some teams make mistakes of turning Kyler Murray into a franchise quarterback, and then they refuse to move off that mistake. Okay, right. I never said that he's close. I never said he's not close to him. And if I did, that's a mistake. Jalen Carter is a great football player, but right now Quinnen Williams is a better ball player. Jalen Carter will be a better player down the line when he gets mature and he gets in better shape. And he stops being a lazy fat ass. He'll be a player. He's got more upside. There, you feel better about yourself? There's your reach around. Silz, with the yearly struggles on offense, if Hurts was determined to be the problem, would moving on from him look like? What would it look like? I'm not moving on from Jalen Hurts. I've built that team around him. That's not happening. Silz, the trade got us Cooper, Carter, and Smitty. Wow. Long live Carson Wentz. I mean, really? Long live Carson Wentz. And get this, guys. Think of this. Silz, the trade that you sent, Carson Wentz to Philly, and you ate $32 million. Was it $32 million in cap space? Would you surrender $32 million in cap space if you knew that the picks that you trade were going to come back to be Cooper, Carter, and Smitty? You'd do that all night. You'd eat that $30 million, wouldn't you? Would you not eat that $30 million? Shit, that's a $34 million. Okay? $34 million for Cooper, Carter, and Smitty on rookie contracts, right? It's a no-brainer. That's why when you say, look at the dead cap money on AJ, if you're going to trade him. Well, fuck, you had $34 million in dead cap. Get this, if you moved AJ and you got draft picks back and you had to eat $30-some million in cap space and you were going to get, Cooper, Carter, and Smitty back, You'd be okay with that, right? It's a fucking steal. Your draft picks are not as valuable as you think, especially when you're fucking good. Casey should have gave Jets 2 second-round picks for a running back haul. That would have made him great. It's a good call there, brother. Says, how come the Niners aren't able to do the same as the Eagles? It's the owner. Okay, the York family doesn't want to put the money up front. That's a fact. Alonzo Highsmith confirmed that. I sent Xander, Howard Eskin, and Angelo Cataldi text messages from the assistant general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles. From the New England Patriots that they've called numerous times for A.J. Brown's availability. Facts from the guy. I showed it to him. Okay? Okay? I mean, so if one team called, I know the Bucs did too. Jason Light made a call. That doesn't mean they're going to move him. The Eagles felt right now, in the best interest of the football team, not moving A.J. Brown was in their best interest. And that A.J. being on the team outweighed anything draft-wise or anything that would help them. Draft picks don't help the Eagles today. Howie was looking to help the team 25 because, once again, he did all his 26 and 27 work in the offseason, and now he's doing all his 25 work. By the way, remember this. Howie was late in the process. Why? Because they played until February. He's playing catch-up right now. Don't you guys see what he's doing? Had to move off the players. The shitty players he brought in didn't work. So he sees that. He thought some of them would pan out, and some of the guys on his own team, they didn't. And so now he's made 9 moves since the start of the season. 9 moves. Hey, help me out on something. Has he made more trades in season than he did out of season? Right now, nothing. AJ on my team helps me more than AJ not on my team. That's how you look at it. That's the end story. Myles Garrett doesn't do shit for the Browns. Today, tomorrow, the next day. A franchise quarterback's not going to help the Browns. No matter what John McMullen tells you. Dude, you put Patrick Mahomes on that team, they're not going anywhere. Their offensive line is old. They have no run game. They have marginal wideouts. Their head coach is decent. Good defense. It's not winning a Super Bowl. A.J. Brown, Howie Roseman, and the owner went like this. A.J. Brown on our football team is better than A.J. Brown not on our football team. You're going to have to make me do this. Okay. Make me an offer you can't refuse. Okay? Make me an offer you can't refuse. I can refuse that offer. I can refuse that offer. I refuse that offer. I refuse that offer. And then you got Adam Schefter tweeting out, well, AJ's not going anywhere. Nobody fucking asked you. Hey, thanks for the random tweet about AJ Brown on the trading deadline. Of all things. Hey, it's one thing to tweet out something non-trading deadline. Hey, guess what, folks? AJ's not going anywhere, just so you know. I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you. You offered that up. Says, how would one of your coaches like Landry or JJ handle the AJ stuff? Jimmy Johnson would go to A.J. Brown and say this to him. I don't mind you saying whatever you want, tweeting whatever you want. Get me 100 yards a game. Give me 10 catches a game. Go do what you want to do. You want to be an asshole? Go ahead. You better be productive, though. You want to be whatever. I don't have a problem doing anything. You want to say whatever. You can say whatever you want. Try not to attack teammates. Do whatever you want, but you better be productive, because the moment you're not productive and you're acting like an asshole, and that asshole is bigger than the production, you're fucking out of here. If you're still productive and you're acting like an asshole, I'm going to coach that asshole. That's how Jimmy coached him. That's how Jimmy coached those guys. Aren't you the clown that said that Purdy was better than Hurts? In the pocket, he still is. He throws the ball better. He's better at throwing across the middle of the field. And, yeah, he's a better passer in the pocket than Jalen Hurts will ever be. Yes. No, Hurts is not a better passer in the pocket. There's very few people he's better than when it comes to the top 10 players in the game, when it comes to throwing the football. End of story, guy. Thanks for the super. Okay. What would it take for me to move AJ in season? Get this. First round picks. Okay. Get this. He's not. Let's take a look at Brock Purdy. I don't have to. Purdy's thrown for over 35 touchdowns. Purdy's thrown for over $4,000. Purdy's gone to a Super Bowl too. He's only been a few years starter. He's better in the pocket. He's a better passer. That doesn't make him a better quarterback. You're missing it. He's not a better passer. You ask A.J. Brown who he'd rather have thrown the ball to him in the pocket. Brock Purdy or Hurts? I guarantee he's Purdy. He's not better. Way better as a passer? Highly unlikely when you're 2,900 yards every year. Okay? Hey, whatever. Hurts takes a fucking boatload of sacks for a reason. His pocket presence is terrible. Purdy's probably the 11th best quarterback in pro ball. Well, throwing the ball. Again, we're talking about two different things here. Okay? We're not talking about winning. We're not talking about any of that other stuff. I'm talking about pure passing. I'm not talking about all the other stuff. Hurts has got a bigger toolbox to be able to go and do more things. Can run. He's got a run game. He's got a decent old line. Used to be sensational. Now it's not. Hey, again, I mean, Purdy did not lose his job. Purdy gets hurt. Again, okay? Right? Guy, Jalen Hurts is not a better passer. He's not done one thing in the passing game better than Brock Purdy. What has he done better in the passing game? I'm not talking about the winning. I'm talking about as a thrower in the pocket. What's he done better? Name one thing. He's never had a better season. He's never thrown more touchdowns. He's actually had a higher percentage. Brock Purdy's issue right now is health. And that's a problem with Joe Burrow. Yeah, okay. Jalen has never done anything to the extent of what that guy has done in the pocket. Facts. Honestly, would rather have a winner. Okay. That's different debate. Prince, that's a different conversation. I'd rather have Tom Brady than Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers is a better player. I'll take that back, Prince. He's a better talent. Brady's a better player. Knows how to play the position better, smarter. That's a different conversation. Okay? Of course I get this. Here, I'll make the point to you, my friends. It's not that hard, man. It's not that hard. Brock Purdy. I'm talking about an individual talent. Okay? Hurts has never done any of this. Ever. He's never thrown for 4,200 yards and 31 touchdowns. He's never thrown for, led the NFL in completion percentage. He's never led the NFL in passer rating. He's 24-14 as a starter. He's only 26 years old. He's missed all the season this year. I mean, 4,200, 3,800 he had in a down year in 15 games. Bro, give me a break. Wake me up when that happens. I doubt it happens at 27, but if you do trade AJ, what do you think we do at the position to replace him? I think you go into the draft, you get on a rookie contract. Xander, I think I missed the super. Guys, I appreciate the super chats. Thank you very much. Please do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button there. Let's see if we can get up here. Gannon is not the right coach for Kyler Murray. The way that McDermott isn't the right coach for Josh. I see him with McVay post-Stafford. I would not want Kyler Murray in Los Angeles if I was Sean McVay. Sean McVay is more of a traditional pocket guy. You're going to see somebody like, Brock Purdy would be great for a guy like Sean McVay because that's the kind of quarterback he likes. Like a pocket guy. Somebody in the pocket there. That's irrelevant. That's a team accomplishment. That's like telling me, because Jalen Hurts has been to two Super Bowls, he's better than Dan Marino. Fucking joke. Purdy isn't close to being, he's a better passer in the pocket. Hurts struggles in the pocket. How'd Purdy pass versus the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Guys, you're missing the point. I'm not debating it anymore. So let's do this. Let's move on, and we are going to look at my midseason grades for the Philadelphia Eagles. So we will do that now. And it's the halfway grades. Senor, was this yours? Are you in here? Was this your idea? Because I liked it yesterday. I liked what you said there yesterday. So let's take a look at this. Senor, I think that was you, right? That did that. Was that you that came up with this? And we'll ask you what you think. All right. So let's start. Let's start with the defense. And then we'll go to the offense. Because actually, the defense, in some ways, I think has actually played better than what the offense has in the first half. So let's go here. Moro Jomo. I'll write this down. Moro, what do you think his midseason grade should be? 9th best defensive end out of 128, according to PFF. What do you think? What grade would you give Moro Jomo? A B? A? What would you give him? B plus? Not very high in sacks. B minus? Pressure rate, he's awful good. I would give Moro Jomo a B. I think he's had a hell of a first half. I think the drop-off between him and Milton is not that drastic. It's a little bit, not a lot. Of all the players you replaced, he's giving you the least fall-off in production at the position. He has. Of all the players you replaced on defense, he's been the best. That fall off from Milton Williams to him has been minimal. The gap is not felt. He's played very well. And this is a 7th round pick. Add that to the mix too. He's a 7th round pick. He makes $1 million, like $1,058,000. Saving $25 million, and he's giving you theoretically the same production that Milton gave you. If you're going to give an award, excuse me, for the most improved player in the first half of the season, Milton Williams gives you and takes the award for the most improved Philadelphia Eagle of anybody on your team. And you don't have to pay the guy $25 million. By the way, you'll have a big decision to make on if you're going to give him a contract extension or what you're going to do maybe money-wise with him. Because that guy, if he were to go on the open market, he's a $15 to $20 million a year guy. And you got him for $1 million. Okay? All right. So B. It's a really good player. Jordan Davis. What do you make of him? First half of the season. Jordan Davis. What'd you give him? Jordan Davis. By the way, please hit the like button, guys. A's out of the question. How are you an A when you're 25th in rush defense? Fucking stupid. Be careful on the B's. Your defense is not that good right now. People move the ball on you. I'd give him a C+. I think he's had C+ football, and I think he's a borderline B-. I don't hate his year. I don't think he's exceptional. I think he's had a good start to the year. I think he's taken a little bit from what he did a year ago in week 14 and moved it on. And I think he has. Here. Why, do you think that number should be higher? Let's take a look at that. He wants me to give a guy, and he wants me to give a B+ to a guy. Hold on here. And you want me to give high grades to a defensive front that the defense right now total is ranked 23rd. And versus the run, which is his primary objective, 19th. Give me a break, guys. Think in the real world. C+, B-. Okay. Here's another tricky one. Jalen Carter. Yeah, this is what you guys are not going to like because this is not one of these fucking Glaze Vest shows. Give me a grade of Jalen Carter. What do you think? First half of his season's been suspended for the first game. Has been spotty. What if Carter had Ajomo mentally worked his ass off at Texas and Philly? What if Carter had Ajomo mentality? Oh, my God, that's right. Eagle fan. If Carter had Moro Ajomo's mentality and worked his ass off like he did when he was at the University of Texas and the way he's improved himself as a football player, he would be he'd be a first-team All-Pro. So what do you make of, this is asinine right here. This is asinine, A-. This is more reality, but I think a little higher. Okay? He's been injured a lot. I don't think D, Mikey. I think that Jalen Carter's played C+ football so far. Your best football player on your D line right now is Moro Ajomo. Okay? Let's go here. I'd give Jalen Carter C+. Let's go Can't do Nolan Smith. Let's go. Who's your Will? Who's going to be your Will? That's going to be Jaelan Phillips now. So, who can't put? Yeah, you can't talk Nolan Smith. So I guess you're going to go Joshua Uche. He's not very good against the run. By the way, if he was so great, why'd you make him move for an edge? What would you give Joshua Uche? I'd give him a solid C+. He's actually, of all the Temu signings, has actually been the best of all the I don't hate the kid. I think he's been probably a C+. I'm good with him. How about Zach Bond? First half grade, Zach Bond would be what? By the way, guys, please hit the like button. See, let me pick a guy out here. I'm not seeing it yet. Hold on here. I'll go A-. Runs to the ball, makes big plays. I think the inconsistency of your D tackles in the middle, not Davis either. Carter, I think he's an A-. I think Zach Bond has played really good football for you. And he's not played the year he had a year ago because that team was better defensively with better talent on it. But he's played really good ball. He's great in open space. Sideline to sideline. He's a pretty good ball player. So I will go there with him with that. Let's see here. Let's go Jahad Campbell. I'm not going to do Dean because that's incomplete. Let's go Jahad Campbell. How do you think Jahad Campbell's played? He gets 2 grades. Jahad Campbell gets 2 grades. This is unrealistic. This is, of course, unrealistic. I think Jahad Campbell's played B- football, A+ for a rookie. And those grades aren't that off on what his potential could be. Okay. As a rookie, I think he's an A+. Can move him around. Can put him in positions that we need you to play edge. Okay. You know how many guys can't do that? Had the flexibility of doing that? Can't do that. But as a unit guy, and as the guy you have to have make plays, he's still learning the position. By the way, B- is not terrible. Yeah, the Cowboys linebackers are Fs. Okay? I think he's been really good. He's not been a liability. He's had, once again, of course you're confused. Because as a football player in a unit, whether you're a rookie or not, you have to be graded on how you play inside the structure of the defense. This is how every coach, and I'll teach you here, Prince, how coordinators look at players. As a rookie, as, what was Vic's words? Uneven. That he's played this year. He's been uneven. Okay? So, a little bit uneven. But as a rookie, it's an A+ because he's learning. He's not been a liability. But as a unit, playing inside the unit, he's played B- ball. not been a liability. Stick with me, Prince. I'll teach you the game. Campbell needs to be better at filling gaps. He's still reading and learning. And, sometimes he takes false steps. And he's getting there. And that's why Dean doesn't make false steps. Dean made those same mistakes as a rookie by making false steps. And Dean doesn't make those false steps. That's why he's better against the run. I mean, the guy, anytime you hear me say that guy, he's a missile. That's because that guy reads his keys. Remember something, and the most important thing I can ever tell you on how you evaluate a player. Don't ever watch the ball. Our coaches used to always say this. Don't ever watch the ball. It'll take you away from the play. Watch your keys. It'll take you to the ball. That's what Jalen Carter doesn't do. And that's why guys sometimes play high. They're looking for the ball. Counter trace, kill those guys. Do you know offensive coordinators? They love guys like this that play in the defensive line, that look up and look for the ball. You know why? Run counter tray on them. Run those stretch plays and run the counter stretches. You see a guy reading his keys. Here, look, guy's in front of me. I'm playing defensive tackle and I'm in a 3 technique. That guy blocks away. I'm looking inside immediately. Why? I know they're trying to run back something counter tray on me. It depends on the splits. You're down in a 3 technique. You see wider splits over there with your tackle. They're trying to run a stretch play on you. You see big gaps inside. What are they trying to do? They're trying to create lanes in here in space so the guys inside can maneuver and scoop and slip onto the linebackers and get into the second level. So to me, again, it's the splits will tell you where the play's going. Tight splits, trying to run outside. Wide splits, they're trying to stretch you. Or run counter back inside again. Again, when I see a player go like this, I'm looking for the down block immediately coming from the offensive tackle. Wiping across, getting outside my leverage crease. You never want your outside shoulder contained by a blocker. Always keep your outside shoulder free. Why? Why do you want to keep your outside shoulder free? You want to keep your outside shoulder free because the pursuit is in the middle of the field. You're trying to run people back to pursuit. Keeping my outside shoulder free, that means this. What? Player has to cut inside. Pursuit's inside. I may not make the play, but my cohorts are going to make the play because they're in pursuit. All about technique. And Campbell is learning that. That's why it's a little uneven. I think B- is okay. As a rookie, though, I think he's a really good player. So I'm good with that. Yeah. That's part of the problem that Hugh Douglas was talking about. Guy doesn't know fucking shit from Shinola. He's a freelancer. That's why sometimes he gets blocked. Gets up, plays too high, gets turned out of position. It's not because he's not a good player. He's freelancing. He's running around blocks. Player technique. I mean, Aaron Donald was a freak at technique. He's 6 feet tall. Do you guys know that? Aaron Donald's 6 feet tall. 6 feet. So like A.J. Dillon's taller. He's 6 feet tall. How is he playing against Mekhi Becton or Lane Johnson or some of these other guys that are 6'6"? I'm not shocked, dude. You have no idea what I'm telling you. And folks, hopefully you're getting it because Jalen Carter, once again, he's got to learn technique. And he's getting there. So let's go on. Why would I ever think Prince would understand that? Who the fuck said he knows football? Let's go to Jaelan Hunt. What grade would you give Jaelan Hunt? Cowboys and Bills will be in the Super Bowl. Silz in 23. Correct. You said that the Eagles would be great. I told you they would implode, and they did. Thanks for the super. What would you give Jaelan Hunt? What would you give him? C plus? Oh, no. That's a different conversation. You expected more. What was realistic? I know you guys expected more. Okay? A lot of fun. We'll do it again. Believe me. C minus? I'm going to give him a C. I think he's played okay. I think all of you had higher expectation that he was going to be the next Lawrence Taylor. And that was not going to be a reality. And I think he's getting better. The last 12 quarters, I'm seeing more Jaelan Hunt. Okay? I'm seeing more Jaelan Hunt. I'm seeing the kid. And I'll tell you this. Would you not agree with this? Slow start, yes. Would you not agree with this? If I'm going to build, that's right. He's progressing every game. I agree. He's getting better every game. Okay? He's getting better. And absolutely true. Getting better and better and better. Every single game. Okay? Every game he's getting better. And I'll tell you this, would you not agree with this comment? If I had to pick one or the other that was going to build my edge room around, and he's going to be the future, I'm taking him over Nolan Smith. Sills, Nolan Smith's got more talent. Nolan Smith's unreliable. He's just unreliable. I'd rely on Jaelan Hunt. Like my edge room in 2026 could be Jaelan Phillips and Jaelan Hunt. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I'm Nolan Smith again. We can't. That's right. Get this. Can't predict injuries. Well, you can predict one thing. Nolan Smith will be hurt. He always is. You drafted him hurt. He was drafted hurt. Right? I mean, he was drafted injured. What are Philly 500 and Homes on? 4:30 is Battle Royale. Seals, do you think seeing a guy like Jaelan Phillips work can help his development? Yes. He's a hard worker. He's a guy that wants to be great. Everything you love in a football player, Jaelan Phillips is it. Remember, when healthy. Okay? When healthy. So let's move on here. By the way, Wayne Laravey, the voice of the Green Bay Packers, will join us at the bottom of the hour. We will talk to him and get his insights on Monday night's game with the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. He's the Merrill Reese of Green Bay football. Yeah, I'll give him a C. I'm okay. Actually, I'm not down on Jaelan Hunt. I think he's progressing right along. How about a Dory Jackson? Dory Jackson right now is number 1 on the depth chart. Jesus, I was going to give him a D plus. F. I was going to give him a D plus. And I'm going to give him a D plus. I don't think it's that. Listen. This is where I'm going to disagree with you guys. I don't think he's been an F, but I'm going to give him a D plus. Fucking F. Okay. All right. I can't believe. Wait a minute. I'm defending Adoree Jackson. That's a new one. I thought for sure. That you guys would be giving and everybody F. Get him out of here. He blows. I hate him. All right. All right. How about Keely Ringo? What do you make of Keely Ringo? Hey, Sue, I'm going to throw this at you, Sue. Sue, do you remember me saying that I thought that Keely Ringo may be better by the end of the year? You guys remember me saying that? I actually think he's showing a little improvement. He's getting beat. Okay? I think he gets beat. So, Sue, you remember me saying, I think the kid, Keely Ringo, might be better by the end of the year. And, yeah, I think he's progressing. And so, to me, C minus. He's getting beat. Well, playing that position's difficult. Okay, he's last couple games, he's not been a liability. Well, my expectations were of this. I think Adoree Jackson's a D plus. If you think that's defending, okay. And I think Keely being a C minus. If you think that's defending, okay. Okay, that's what, and by the way, that's what you're working with. That's what you're working with right now. Hey, I got a question for you guys. Is Sidney Brown fucking hurt? What about Sidney Brown's first half? A third-round pick. The great drafting of Howie Roseman. Oh, I know. Here's the new one. Or old one. Can't hit on the mole, Silz. I got it. So Sidney Brown is a third-round pick. Yeah, look at this. I'm with you. I forgot he was on the team. That's a third-round pick. That guy's so bad he gets an incomplete. I don't even know what to grade him. Grading him an F would just be mean. Incomplete? I don't fucking know what he is. What happened to him? You guys were telling me he was going to be an all-pro this year. That's a Howie Roseman third-round pick. Is he hurt? Andrew Makuba. What do you make of him? Andrew Makuba. Second-round pick. I think this is the guy that Vic said uneven, but what do you think? Made some plays. Yeah, I'm all right with a C minus. As a rookie, I'd give him a B. I think you're two rookies that play. Jahad Campbell and Makuba. I think they're trending on track to be good football players in the future for you. I think they're good picks. These are good picks. Again, as a rookie, I give him a B. As a guy playing within the structure of the unit, a little uneven, C minus, somewhere in there, but he's trending up. One thing that hasn't changed with Roseman, he can't draft a safety to save his life. Pretty damn true. If you think about it, okay, I mean, the cornerback position, the only guy he's ever gotten right have been the recent ones, Cooper and Q. Prior to that, he stunk out loud. And he has fucking shit the bed at edge rusher. He's not gotten an edge right. I mean, he hasn't. And say all the bullshit you want about his drafting skills. Linebacker, gotten a lot better. That's because Vic in the room. Okay. What do you make of Reed Blankenship? What would you give Reed? Okay. What would Reed Blankenship? How many people in here believe that Reed Blankenship's playing B+ football? What do you think? Senor, this was your idea. This is a great idea by you. Senor, what do you think of Reed? I think Reed's been a C-. That's not $15 million. $15 million. Not you, but some people that I won't name. We're talking $15 fucking million for that guy. Are you crazy? That guy's not a $10 million a year guy. That's a guy, if he wants to leave in the offseason, have at it. Have at it. See ya. Have at it. Hey, wait, he brings more intangibles to the room. Like, what is that? Oh, wait. He leaves more intangibles because he's a communicator back there. Yeah, but can he play? By the way, Monday night, they're expecting massive flurries in the game on Monday night. Got a snow game coming up. Like it. How about Q? Quinion Mitchell. What do you think of Q? This fucking guy gets better every single game. He just gets better every game. Dude, he is so natural at him playing that zone. It looks like he's a 10-year veteran the way he plays. He's been beat a few times, but all the good ones get beat. I don't like giving A's out. I got it, though. I'm going to give him an A. I'm going to give him an A. Q has been exceptional. You might have 2 first-team All-Pros. Okay? I mean, and they might be secondary guys. The numbers won't reflect that, but I do not like giving A's out. Because you have to be exceptional. And he is. Quinion Mitchell gets an A from me. Cooper DeJean. What would you give Cooper? Very rarely do you see a football team with 3 A's on it. It shows you what your nobody gets A pluses. It's not happening. You're not a generational player. But he's my first team all pro. You got an A minus with Zach. You got an A minus or an A with Q and an A with Coop. Shows you your defense has the potential, if your offense gets off its ass and stops with those 3 and outs, to help that team a little more. Your defense just might get better if Phillips brings what we think he's going to bring to the table. Cooper DeJean's the best defensive football player right now in the first half of the season on your defense. Q's right there. Bond's right there too. You got upside at the tackle position with Carter. Carter's not going to hang out at C+. Carter's at C+ because of laziness and unpreparedness, which sucks. Because when he's prepared and he's in shape and he's not mentally weak, fucker's the best player, most talented guy in the defense. I do think that improves. That guy's just got to get his shit together. Just get your shit together, guy. You know, how about this? Would this be fair? Jalen Carter's the most underachieving player in the first half of the season for the Eagles. Of all the players you have, he is by far the most underachieving because he has the most ability of anybody on that unit. And he is underachieving. B+, my fucking ass. Getting thrown out of games, not being in shape. Defense is giving up 20. You're 20th in run defense. Give me a break, guy. What metric are you fucking watching? Those aren't bad. Moro Jomo, a B. Davis, C+, B-. You want to go there? I'm all right with both. Carter, a C+. Uche, a C+. Bon, A-. Jahad Campbell, B-. Jelix Hunt, C, getting better. Adoree Jackson, D+. Keeley, give him a C-. Sidney Brown, incomplete. I don't know what he's doing. Good stuff, man. All right, let's go over to the – before we get Wayne Laravey on. Wayne Laravey is the golden voice. He is the Merrill Reese of the Green Bay Packers. And he's going to join us in a couple minutes. And we're going to talk Monday Night Football. Looks like there's going to be flurries. And there's going to be a pretty big snowstorm on Monday night. So be prepared for that. We may not get through all the offense before Wayne. Jalen Hurts. Give me a grade on Jalen. Jalen Hurts' first half. Passing offense is 24th. Total offense, you're 25th. What do you think? Brandon, I'm with you. I think Jalen Hurts has played C+ football. And I think the last 2 weeks, they're trending better. First half, the passing game has been non-existent. Pretty much the running game. And they've been finding ways to win because of Jalen's ability to move the sticks with his wheels. Last 2 weeks, that's been different. Against Minnesota and the New York Giants. Congratulations, you split with the Giants. I don't know how to take that. I'm sure you'll take it in a different light. But I got C+. Saquon Barkley's first half has been what? Saquon Barkley's been what? Saquon Barkley, what would you give Saquon? First half of the season. I like that. I'm with you on a C. I think it's been a C. Go C+. I don't really think it's anything to do with him. I'm with you guys. I think it's a lot to do with the offensive line in front of him. Okay? How about Devontae Smith's first half? Been what? What do you think? Ben what? Passing game's not that hot. But take him into consideration. One game, he's pretty much covered pretty much a lot of the numbers. You take that Giant game away, pretty much just go from there. I would give him a B+, though. Reliable, great routes. I'm okay with B+. How about A.J. Brown? What do you think of A.J.? A.J. Brown. What would you give A.J.? First half of the season. I'd give him a C. C for A.J. Brown. What would you give to Dallas Goedert? I'd give Dallas Goedert a B-. I don't think Dallas Goedert's had a good first half. I really do. By the way, we are going to talk to our friend Wayne Laravey in a couple minutes, the voice of the Green Bay Packers. So we're looking forward to talking with Wayne Laravey. He, in my opinion, is one of the truly greats. By the way, we're going to pause this exercise, and we're going to do it again. We'll do it in a couple minutes, but, you know, one of the great things that I get a chance to do is over all these years, all the people that I've played in front of, the folks that I know who have been part of organizations. You know, one of the coolest things about my family, see that name Robustelli behind me? You know how many games he's played at Lambeau Field? You know how many championship games he's played up there? And Andy told me, when you go to Lambeau Field, Dan, when you play for the first time like I did with the Bucs, it's truly one of the coolest things on the planet. It's a bucket ride thing where you've got to make sure you have a bucket list where you go to Lambeau. The only problem, before I bring Wayne Laravey in, is that you do this. You land in Appleton, I think it is. And then I'm driving through like Wayne's neighborhood where he lives. I'm like this to my friends. I remember Steve DeBerg was on the bus, and I go, "Where's Lambeau?" I go, "We stopping at someone's house for like brats or something?" And he goes, "No, you go through this community." And then before you know it, there's Lambeau. You're like, holy cow, it's like a cathedral. It's like you're going to go see the 16th ceiling if you're a football guy. Well, on Monday night, there's going to be a pretty damn big game. And anytime you get a chance to go up there to Lambeau, you got to go into Coach Lombardi's office. They still got all the stuff hanging out there. They got his business cards there still. One of the coolest things you ever go to is their Hall of Fame, which is one of the greats of all time. And my uncle played with Lombardi when he was with the Giants, and he was an assistant coach with the New York Giants. So our family goes back a long way with Coach Lombardi and all that. Without further ado, the man that is the voice, he is your Merrill Reese of the Green Bay Packers. He's our friend Wayne Laravey. How you doing, Wayne?
Dan, good to be with you again. How you doing?
All good, man. I can never, ever get enough Green Bay Packer stuff every time I go up there. And I remember when people said, my uncle told me when he was alive, lay on the field. You'll understand what I'm talking. So I'm like, what do you mean? So we went up there, and of course I was with the Bucs. So it's November, and of course you're freezing your baguettes off. So I'm laying on the ground there, and I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? He goes, my uncle's right. The ground is heated. He goes, Lombardi put those coils in? I'm like, get out. He goes, I don't know if they've upgraded them, but this was years ago. He died obviously a couple of years back, but I mean, it's truly a great experience if you've never been in Lambeau. Do you still get a thrill when you're calling games?
Yes.
When you call it from that stadium?
Yeah, and I've been doing it for 27 years. So, but it's still a thrill to go up there and do a game. It really is. Just a great atmosphere. And you mentioned the neighborhood you have to drive through to get to Lambeau Field. And, a friend of mine years ago when I was taking him in, he was from Kansas City and going to Green Bay for the first time. And we're driving through, Green Bay, through the neighborhoods. And he says, oh, just what you said. Where's Lambeau Field? What's the deal here? And then all of a sudden you come to Ridge Road and Lombardi Avenue, or Oneida Street and Lombardi Avenue, and there it is. But and it's a little more conspicuous today, Dan, in that they've made all the upgrades and built around that inner bowl. But I was looking at it the other day, that inner bowl, it's still bleacher seats. The field is the same. Nothing has changed in that regard. The locker rooms have changed, but that's okay. But the field itself, everything that your uncle played on, that you played on, that's the same. It's the same thing.
How does it feel that you are one of the voices like that Ray Scott, who was one of the voices of the National Football League? I grew up because my uncle knew Ray Scott and all that. And you're like, Ray Scott was the voice of the National Football League, but he was also the voice of the Packers, and he was the guy who was the host of the Lombardi show. How does that feel for you that you're part of that legacy too?
Yeah, it's a special honor. Ray Scott back in the 60s, this is back when the networks assigned announcers to teams. Not like today where they get a game a week or whatever, and they move them around. But back then, like I think Jack Buck was doing the Cowboys, and somebody else, I can't remember who was doing the Giants, because I was a kid growing up back east in the 60s, and the Giants were part of our market in Western Massachusetts. So we always got their games. Might have been Jack Whitaker, somebody like that, doing the Giants games every week. But anyway, Jack Buck was doing the Cowboys. Ray Scott was doing the Packers. And when those teams met in the 1966 and 67 NFL championship games, those guys split the duties. One did one half, the other did the other half. And that's kind of how it went. And so, yeah, Ray was known nationally as the voice of the Packers and a lead NFL announcer and football announcer for CBS. But the guy who did the radio in those years was a guy by the name of Ted Moore. And whenever you see that clip of Bart Starr diving over the end zone, the goal line into the south end zone, the call you're hearing is Ted Moore. And that's the call he made. And he was a great announcer too, but he was the voice of the Lombardi Packers, and Ray Scott was the TV voice of the Packers in that era.
Tell me how good you think this 2025 team can be, Wayne.
They can be real good, Dan, but only in spurts, it seems like. People have lamented that they seem to play down to the competition. A lot of us, including the quarterback, thinks, they're just inconsistent right now. And, that inconsistency is going to be harder to overcome now that they lost one of their best playmakers in Tucker Kraft, the tight end. But their inconsistency is not just week to week. It's half to half. They average about, 9 points a game in the first half of their games and about twice that in the second half. So it's maddeningly inconsistent. But you know what? If you look around the league, a lot of teams are in the same boat.
How much of a loss is that? Because it looked to me like he was becoming a major factor. Like, you're talking about a guy, and I'm talking Tucker Kraft, obviously, that he was a major point that threatened the seam and threatened the middle of the field and was a major component for, what Matt LaFleur wanted to be able to run for the quarterback. How much of a loss do you think he is moving forward?
Well, he's a huge loss, and the loss will be felt not only on the field, but especially in the locker room. He's the youngest captain of the Packers. He was elected a captain in just his third year on the team. He's that kind of a leader. He was kind of the heart and soul and pulse of that team, especially the offensive part of it. But the other factor is on the field. Now, he was turning into a legitimate top 2 or 3 quarterback, tight end. I mean, the guy in San Francisco, George Kittle, wonderful player. Tucker Kraft's probably a better player than he is right now. And any of the other guys, you've got the great tight end catching passes in Arizona, but he's a pass catcher. Tucker Kraft was a big part of this ground game. Excellent inline blocker, very good receiver. Did a lot of the little things. Most complete tight end in the league, in the upper echelon of tight ends in this league. Mark Andrews, wonderful player at Baltimore, but more of a pass catcher. Tucker was everything in that regard. So he was a lot like George Kittle, ran a lot like George Kittle in the open field, and now probably, before the injury, obviously, had probably passed George Kittle at this stage of their careers.
Do you agree the addition of Micah Parsons, would you compare it and put it in the same context of Reggie White coming to the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, if the Packers win a Super Bowl with him on the line, I would say that, yes.
Right.
But no, Reggie was that was a different era, and his impact was much greater than just Green Bay. The fact that he chose Green Bay when he could have gone to San Francisco and any number of bigger markets, that kind of gave the Packers, for the first time in that era, these guys can play with the big boys in that arena, meaning player acquisition. Players would be willing to go to Green Bay. Reggie went to Green Bay. It opened the door for a lot of other players since to come to Green Bay. His impact on the field, unquestioned. You can look at the stats all you want. But beyond that, it was probably more important. His impact was more important in the intangible aspect of his presence in Green Bay.
Man, I'll tell you, I mean, his impact, if you look at the numbers here, I mean, the defense on that side of the ball, tell me what you think of the defense, because, again, you guys lose Kenny Clark. I thought that might have been like a major issue when you guys came to defending the run, but you're right there at the top of the list at defending the run this year. I mean, it's really not been a drop-off since you've missed him, but as an overall group, the defense with him in it, has this been the more improved side of the football from a year ago?
Yeah, I think so. No question about it. The pass rush, and they're able to get pressure on the quarterback with a 4-man rush. And Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator, former Boston College head coach, in his second year, and he tried to do this last year, but they didn't have the horses in a 4-man rush to pressure the quarterback. So he had to compromise. He had to do a lot of blitzing and that kind of thing. And they were able to get some pressure. And they were a kind of middle-of-the-road pass rush team. This team's much better than that because of the presence of Parsons. And he's opened the door for a guy by the name of Rashawn Gary, who was a 13th pick in the draft a number of years ago and always was the focal point of everybody's attention. Now with Micah Parsons, you take a look at Rashawn Gary, he's getting double-teamed maybe 3% of his pass rushing snaps. That's the lowest by far of his career. So Parsons has made the people around him better on that line. The concern you mentioned about the run game against this defense, and they got off to a really good start first month of the season, but lately there have been some chinks in the armor, so to speak, and they've been bleeding a little bit more on the ground game. And Carolina hit them for 163 yards, and really what Carolina did was impressive in that the Panthers were missing 3/5 of their starting offensive line. Wow. And once we got to the second quarter, they were missing 4/5 of the line. The Packers had their worst game in terms of quarterback pressure. They had their worst game in terms of run defense. And Carolina basically controlled the line of scrimmage in a matchup of their offensive line. And that was really surprising, makeshift as it was, against the Green Bay defensive front. That was the biggest take from that game.
Do you think they caught them off guard too? Because, Carolina's gotten better. You could tell that they've gotten better. And the quarterback, you mentioned it. It's kind of like almost like what you're going to see on Monday night, Wayne, where you're not going to see a high volume passing. You're going to see a team that's going to try to pound the ball. So maybe what Carolina did was give you a precursor to what you're going to see on Monday night, where the Eagles are going to try to run the ball. They just come off a game where they ran the ball exceptionally well against the New York Giants. The quarterback was really good in that ball game, but traditionally they want to establish the run and they want to play on the other side of the defensive side, trying to stop you guys by playing at 2 high safety. So do you think you're going to see almost the same kind of carbon copy, and maybe Carolina helped you guys out a little bit on what you're going to see on Monday night?
Yeah, I think so. I believe you're exactly right. The game will come down to who's the more physical football team on Monday night. This is something the Packers felt they were improved at. And then we saw last Sunday, and we're really surprised that the Packers got handled physically in that ball game against Carolina. They'll have to be much stronger, much tougher, much more physical against this Philadelphia team. Now, the Eagles have struggled to run the football, which is surprising when you consider before the Giants game, they were really scuffling in that area. Yep. The offensive line, not quite as effective as it was a year ago. Saquon Barkley, as a result, 60-yard rushing for 60 yards less per game than he did a year ago. Now, that was a record-setting year. We get that. We understand that. But 60 yards difference is a big drop. And, then against the Giants, you saw the 65-yard touchdown run. You said, okay, I think they found it again. And Saquon found it. He went for, 160 yards himself or thereabouts, and they had a big rushing day. Their line is still the big factor, the offensive line. They've been nicked up a little bit, but they seem to be getting healthier. The team's coming off a bye. That can only help. The quarterback has been exceptional. Whenever he's thrown the ball, it's been outstanding. He leads the league in passer rating for a reason, and he's been very good and very accurate. They're going to get A.J. Brown back this week. That you would think would help. Devontae Smith has been fantastic. Goddard, their tight end, is a very good player. They've got a lot of tools offensively. Defensively, Dan, they're scuffling a little bit because last year what they did better than anybody in the league was they generated pass rush pressure with just a 4-man rush.
Correct.
And that made them downfield a much better defense. This year, they're struggling with that. So they made a number of trades. They have to get another cornerback in there because outside of Quinyon, Mitchell, they're not very good at cornerback. Cooper DeJean in the slot, very good. But the other side, people are exploiting that. So they made the trades to get a couple of cornerbacks in there. And then they go with Jaelan Phillips. Made a big trade to get him as a pass rusher on the outside. That'll help a lot. I'm not sure immediately, but certainly down the road. And this shows you exactly what they've been up against. They lost a lot of people off that defense from last year, and that defense really, along with Saquon and the offensive line, carried that team to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. And I think, outside of Philadelphia, you try to explain that to people that, the defense has been wobbling. And I think, Wayne, the two things that you just mentioned where they've struggled this year, where it's been a little wobbly, is that third down defense and third down offense, they're down at the bottom of the league in those statistics. And that's how you win footballs 20-20. Now, they're good in the red zone there. Yeah. And I do believe that that's going to be an issue. But again, I agree with you. I think the physicality is going to be on display on Monday. And I'm hearing that it's supposed to be some snow, and I hear it's supposed to be some flurries on Monday night. Hey, thank you. It's Green Bay. So, I mean, at the end of the day here, but let me get to your offense here. First, wait, let me ask you about Jaelan. What's your takeaway on Jalen Hurts?
I like him. They don't ask him to carry the offense the way a lot of teams do with their quarterbacks. He's very efficient, Dan. He's improved greatly with his accuracy over the years. He's played big in big moments. When they lost the Super Bowl, he outplayed Patrick Mahomes, and he was the Super Bowl MVP a year ago. I think he's one of the more accomplished quarterbacks in the league. He fits what they do exceptionally well. And, there's so much to this game, and you know it from having played the game. Fit is 50% of it. You know what I mean? If you don't fit what they want to do, what they're looking to do, what the offensive philosophy is, I don't care how talented you are, you're not going to be as effective. Jalen Hurts fits what they like to do offensively. They're going to run the ball first, and they're going to sprinkle in his accuracy, the passing game, his ability to create with his legs, extend plays, maybe run the ball, make a first down, that kind of thing. I just think he's got a couple of good receivers out there, excellent tight end, and they're really set up very well. Easy to see why they're the defending champs.
Do you think that that's going to be a big matchup also besides the physicality and the defense and offensive line fronts? that you'll see in this game on Monday. Do you think that Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown versus the secondary of the Packers, that's also something to keep an eye on? Tell me what you think, take away, and what you think in there with those two matchups.
The two concerns going into this season for the Packers, in light of the Micah Parsons trade, was the rush defense. And as I've mentioned, the last several weeks, we've seen, some leaks in that. And to be honest with you, those of us that are close to it, not really surprised. We knew this was a possibility. But the other factor is this, Dan, and I'm not saying anything disparaging about the Packers cornerbacks, but one starter is a 7th-round draft choice. We really like him. He's physical. He plays to the end of to the echo of the whistle. And a lot of guys don't do that. The other starting cornerback and their lead cornerback is Keyshawn Nixon. Keyshawn came to Green Bay primarily known as a special teamer under Rich Bisaccia in Vegas with the Raiders. And he's developed into a fine cornerback. But these are not shut down number one cornerbacks. Carrington Valentine, like I said, we admire the way he plays the game. Nate Hobbs, a guy they brought in from the Raiders, more of a slot corner. They tried to play him on the outside. Hasn't gone very well. He's injured now as a knee problem. He'll be out a couple of weeks. So the corners are a concern in this game against these caliber receivers.
I like that there. And Wayne, I want to give us a little bit of a history here. Now, I know he's been away from the barn there in Green Bay. Jair Alexander, I want you to give me a takeaway on him. I mean, he's missed 40 games over the last 5 years. Now, he played zone, if I'm not mistaken, at Green Bay. Am I right? They played zone defense. Was it more press? Was it more zone? I mean, the Eagles pick him up. They've struggled, like you said, at that other corner. Just give me your takeaway from 30,000 feet on how you look at that, having seen that player before, and what you think he can still bring. Or do you think maybe, I mean, look, or his best years behind him now, and we're looking at a guy, because as you know, Wayne, injuries catch up with players. No matter if you're older or younger, injuries sometimes catch up with guys. Jair Alexander, give me your takeaway on him.
The Packers thought long and hard before releasing him this summer. He was Brian Gutekunst's first-round draft choice. He was an all-pro corner here, Pro Bowl corner twice, and played very well. There was an incident that happened in 2021, week 4, Pittsburgh, in Green Bay. They had a running back by the name of Najee Harris. He was barreling around the right end of the offensive line, right into Jair Alexander, running back that big, running downhill. Jair came up, tried to make the play, went low, and got trampled. Broke his collarbone, didn't return for the rest of the season until the playoff game against San Francisco. Jair hasn't been the same player since that situation, since that incident. Has he played well on occasion? Yes, he has, but he's been mostly injured since then. The Packers thought long and hard because when he is healthy, he was still a fine cornerback, a good cornerback. And, there was that history here of being the first-round draft choice of this particular regime. But to be honest with you, he's a guy whose best days are well behind him. Have the injuries taken a toll? Yes, they have. How do we know that today? Well, he was healthy when the Ravens went up to Buffalo to play the Bills, and Jair Alexander got torched. Then he missed another couple of weeks due to a knee problem, came back, and wasn't playing well enough to even be activated for the last 2 games he was with the Ravens. So he becomes available. They make a trade for him. It's worth a flyer, but I think Michael Carter, the other cornerback they acquired, is the better player right now. But don't get me wrong. If I'm the Eagles, I'm putting Jair Alexander out there against the Packers and say, okay, kid, turn the clock back for 4 quarters. And you know what? That guy's got enough talent. He might do it. I love Jair Alexander as a person. He was just he was great. But in that regard, great player, but I think his best is well behind him.
A couple last questions here for you, Wayne. I bring this stat up, and I wonder how many times you bring this stat up about the Packers. I think this is one of the most incredible numbers that I know. Like, in the last 30-plus years, 96% of the snaps at quarterback have gone between Favre, Rodgers, and Jordan Love. That has to be, you and I both remember Montana and young, there's a progression where you kind of go, and that kind of probably is the one that's more familiar with people when you saw that progression. But I mean, damn, how do you guys get the quarterback position so right? Or do you think, again, because you know this, there's a lot of luck in this league. I mean, how do you take that where you've had like that much success with three dudes at that in the most important position in the NFL?
And you know, the Young and Montana thing covered what, basically a decade.
Yeah.
And we're talking 3 decades between Favre and Rodgers. And now you go on to Jordan Love. We'll see where Jordan Love fits, but I think he's going to fit pretty well in that pantheon of quarterbacks. He's a talented kid and a good kid, hard worker, and he's only going to get better. But I think this is what happens. Ron Wolf made the decision when he first took over that he was going to trade a first-round draft choice to get Brett Favre, who was a second-round draft choice in Atlanta. And Jerry Glanville didn't want to play him and didn't play him. Okay. So that was kind of, you know, Ron Wolf, his genius, the reason he's in the Hall of Fame might be that pickup right there, saying, I know this guy can play. And he could. Okay, so that happens. But then you go fast forward to 2005. And, you know, Brett is still playing and is ready to come back. Ted Thompson's the new general manager of the Packers. And his first-round draft choice is Aaron Rodgers. And nobody could believe it. And, you know, they got Rodgers in there. He sat for 3 years. He grew in the position. Mike McCarthy was great with him in terms of building him, his mechanics, and his game over those 3 years. And by the time Brett retired, the first time he retired, Rodgers and the team were ready to go and move forward. I think, and then later on, a few years ago, the Packers make a surprise and pick, you know, Brian Gutekunst picks Jordan Love in the first round. Really? You know, Aaron Rodgers had 3 or 4 fingers of bourbon that night. And he was watching that happen. And again, Jay Love sits for 3 years, learns under Rodgers. And when I see Jordan Love go back to throw and I see him dancing in the pocket, it looks a lot like Aaron Rodgers to me. He learned a lot under him. I think the moral of the story is this. Take a quarterback when you don't need one, okay? If there's one good enough out there, you don't need a quarterback. Take him anyway, okay? Number 2, don't ask the quarterback to do too much too early. Allow him to absorb, get into your system. You know, so much of the problem with these first-round quarterbacks is that they get shoved, especially top 10 guys, right into the line of fire. And, you know, this league burns more quarterbacks than it makes.
Absolutely. You look at some of the reclamation projects going on now in the NFL with Baker Mayfield. You see Sam Darnold, Mac Jones. I mean, they're all over the place where organizations let down. I got to ask you one last thing, since you brought up both Favre and Rodgers, and I brought the question up, obviously, but for you, having called both their games, you tell me, 10, 15 years from now, who do you think Packer fans are going to revere more, Favre or Rodgers?
It really depends on the age bracket. The older Packer fans will remember Favre and remember Reggie White and remember that the renaissance of this historic but moribund franchise was that era, Brett Favre and Reggie White. And they'll always remember Brett for that. And Brett will always be revered here because of the style in which he played. He was a gunslinger. He would throw away a game as easily as he'd win a game, and you never know what way it was going to go. Those of us that saw both he and Rodgers play, Aaron was the quintessential modern-day Bart Starr. He wasn't going to throw the game away, no matter what. He was going to win the game with efficiency. He was going to win the game, maybe not with Brett's flair, but he was going to win the game with efficiency, as I saw it. And they're both great in their own way. They really are. There's not a wrong answer to that question. But I think in the long run, people will revere Brett a little bit more because he was that gunslinger and he was part of that team that turned this franchise around.
Don't you agree maybe, too, it also goes with Favre just looked more relatable with his faults and with his style of play. And I mean, it's just to me, I mean, listen, it's just more, I related. Again, Aaron Rodgers looks like he's 10 times smarter than me. He's just like, he's over here. And Favre looks like a guy you sit at a bar having beers with, and then he's going to go out and throw 5 touchdowns and 3 picks in that game. And you're going to go on the seesaw of emotions, right? I mean, here's a Brett Favre game, 350 yards, 28 of 40, and he's got 5 TDs and 3 picks in it. I mean, that's a Brett Favre game, and he wins it, right?
Yeah. And he throws a touchdown pass in the end to win the game. That's so much Brett Favre. And you're right. I think the difference would be, if you want to get into drinking analogies, and I'm more than happy to do that. I would say, yes, you would be sitting in a bar drinking beer with Brett Favre. You'd be sitting at a table in the corner sipping fine whiskey or wine with Aaron Rodgers.
I'm drinking cake bread Merlot with Aaron Rodgers, and I'm having a whiskey and a chaser with Brett. Perfect analogy and a great way to end it, especially in Green Bay, Wisconsin, right there, where nothing's wrong on either of those accounts, right?
No, not at all. No wrong answers here.
Wayne, it's always great catching up with you, my friend. Have a great call on Monday night.
Thank you, Dan. Always good to visit with you. All the best.
You bet, my friend. Thank you. Wayne Laravey, the legendary voice of the Green Bay Packers. Yes. I'm hearing flurries. Okay? I'm hearing flurries. Monday Night Football. Eagles and Packers from the legendary Lambeau Field. Shit. Sounds like a monster movie. I mean, it's a monster movie, man. Okay? Silz, you glazing the Packers this week? No. I'm glazing their franchise and their stadium and their accomplishments. It's one of the most legendary franchises in all of pro football. Jackass. I mean, let's see. Silz, did you get any boosters? Fuck no. You think I am? Absolutely not. Is the show down up next? Oh, yeah, the showdown. That's coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're going to have Battle Royale. This may be one of the most last week was one of the funniest. This may be one of the most anticipated. By the way, legendary John Morgan. Billionaire. By the way, John may be buying a percentage of an NFL team. How you doing? My friend John Morgan has been offered a stake in an NFL team. Is it yours? What? Is it what? Could it be the Eagles? How you doing? Looks like rain and in the 50s in Green Bay Monday night. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be in the 50s at 7 o'clock at night in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I don't think so, kid. 50s in Lambeau. November. Yeah, okay. You might want to drop that about 15 degrees, kid. Okay? I mean, you're going to Lambeau. This is where you freeze your baguettes off. One of the coldest places. Get this. National Weather Service says that. The National fucking Weather Service is in Miami. Silz, after the show, watch the video of Mark Holmes melting down in the Niners playoff game. It's hilarious. I will. Okay, what's this now? Silz, I watch your show with a cold Coke every day. How you doing? Now, wait. Cold Coke with a straw? How you doing? Hey, I don't know. Oh, man. Dan Sileo, I watch your show. I love that, man. With a straw? Doesn't a straw fit in both? Yeah, just saying. I don't know. The most anticipated battle royale of all time with a straw? I'm just asking for a friend. Okay. So how's the stock market? Let's see. Sell the Eagles. Sell the Eagles, man. Sell them, Mortimer. Sell. Sills likes the straws with the umbrellas. Yeah, I do actually. You got a problem with pina coladas? I fucking like pina coladas. 3-5-1. We back, baby. We them boys. Big Dog 500 is about to kick the living shit out of you and Mark. Ooh, will we? With what? The greatness of Jair Alexander? Hey, Billy 500 thinks he's a Pro Bowler. Yeah, about 6 years ago. Did you hear what Wayne just said? Best years are behind you, guy. It's done. Best years are behind Jair Alexander. Dan is a Cowboy lover. I don't like any NFL team, guy. How many times I fucking tell you that? Stupid ass. Green Bay, Wisconsin. Monday night. 25 degrees feels like 17. And you are dead on, my friend. I got off the airplane to play the Packers. Let's see how many times let me tell you, you got off the airplane to play the Green Bay Packers. You're freezing your ass off. Says, are you going to for what? Says, does Xander still drinks iced coffee with a straw? No comment. I don't know. He can answer that later. We're probably after Battle Royale. I think Big Z's going to hit. You can ask him then if he drinks cold coffee with a straw. Is that a thing? I'll be at the Monday night game. Going to watch Nick Winiani and elite Jalen Hurts beat another Sean McVay tree head coach. Eagles own the Packers since Nick has taken over. Ooh. And you split against the Giants. Congratulations to you. Hey, we own the Packers. We split against the Giants, though. Hey, just so you know, Joe Krause says, hey, take a knee. He drinks ice. Now I know where Xander got it from. He goes, I drink iced coffee with a straw. No, what's up with that? Okay. Iced coffee? I don't know. But, you know, that's like for fancy guys that live at Cape May or shit. I don't know. I mean, look, those are the kind of guys that drink like cake bread Merlot and white wine spritzers and shit. I don't know. You see Joe Krause with a white wine spritzer. White wine spritzer and them little hot dogs with a toothpick. Who fucking eats those things? You got a little hot dog with a toothpick. It's weirdo guys out in San Francisco eat that shit. Hot dog, pig in a blanket. Goes back to the Giants. Why not? It's a horrible loss. Oh, wait, I could always do this. Denver Broncos are better than you. Oh, because Senor says, and M. Reyes, you know, we beat the Rams. We're better. So if you beat the Rams, you're better. That means the Broncos are better than you, according to your thinking process, which is stupid and doesn't make sense. So Lambeau Field is heated. Yeah. They got coils that run underneath Lambeau Field, and Vince Lombardi put them in and had people put them in 1966. It's the same coils, believe it or not, they've got a different electronics. And when you play at Lambeau Field and you see the smoke coming off the ground is the heaters that are underneath the field. So the ice doesn't glaze over the field. Do you know that those things were put in prior to the Ice Bowl? Lombardi was so pissed off that when the Ice Bowl happened, that those heaters, they malfunctioned. And Dan Reeves told me when they played on that field, they had to take their cleats off and they played in sneakers because it was so icy. And get this, they told me that, the officials with the whistles, every time an official put the whistle in his mouth, piece of the membrane of their lips would tear off. So actually, after a while, they stopped blowing the whistles because it was taking the membrane of the lips of the officials off because the steel that they were putting it in their mouth there, they couldn't blow the whistles anymore. And some of the ball that was in the whistles, they were breaking. It was so cold. It was minus 37 degrees at that game. I went up to Lambeau. I think my aunt was there. And Betty was there. And I think it was like 14 degrees. Freezing your hey, 14 degrees and you're in Tampa. And you're at Lambeau Field and you got snow on the sidelines. It's insane. Hey, by the way, I also played at a place called what was it? Was it Memorial Stadium? I think I got that somewhere. I played where the Milwaukee Brewers played because back in the day, the Packers would play a game at it was like County Stadium. And the sidelines were on the same sidelines. And so I would run. I had never done that. I had never played a football game where the Packers and the Buccaneers were on the same sidelines. I'm running off on the Packers sideline. The guy goes, you get a flag when you do that too. That's how fucked up that was. I'm running off on the sidelines, and they're like, down there, son. I was a rookie, and I'm like, okay, you run down there. And yeah, it was on we played at County Stadium. That's where Henry Aaron first played his baseball. When you walk into the stadium back then, his first home run and his first baseball bat were there. You're walking in, you're looking up, and you see Hank Aaron's baseball and the baseball bat of his first home run he ever hit. It was really crazy. And it was cold as hell. Holy cow. It was that cold. We got off the airplanes. I only had a suit. I didn't have an overjacket. And my God almighty, even in your hotel room, you were freezing your ass off. So cold up there. Hey, by the way, food's great. I think I had a hot dog at halftime. I knew Herb Adderley, one of the greats of all time. He played in the game, and he got frostbite in the game, and his fingers were all fucked up. I know people who were in that football game that I know some guys that were like on the sidelines, they lost tips of their fingers because they had frostbite on them because of that game. There was minus 38, 36 degrees in that game. And back then, when you played outside, like in Minnesota, or you played at Green Bay, or you went to Buffalo. I played in Buffalo, but it was in the summer. But the coldest I ever played was when I went up to Lambeau, and it was just freezing your asses off. Actually, I would say that was probably the coldest. High school, I played on Thanksgiving. I think it was minus 25 degrees in Connecticut. It was really cold. And then I go down to Florida, and I play in like that weather down there. I'd rather play in the cold than in the heat. Or no, I'll take that back. I'd rather play in the heat than the cold. Because the cold, anytime you hit someone, your neck and your body and your hands and everything hurt. You know, you're just sweating your ass off when you're down in Miami and you're playing in that heat down there. But when you play in the cold, I have never like your helmet, when you hit people and it's 20 degrees or minus 20 and you hit someone, it's like the helmet, the helmet makes so much noise inside, you almost go deaf by the end of the game. You take your helmet off, you can't hear anything. Why? Because you've been smashing into another guy's cold helmet. Now the helmets are better today. You don't really, You don't really have that kind of dynamic. But those helmets back then, you would smash into each other, and the noise that the collisions that they would make. I posted some pictures of me playing at Lambeau, by the way, over on my X account. Coldest son of a bee you've ever been in, man. Holy shit. I mean, I think there was a guy by the name of Don Mikowski that was the starting quarterback, and Forrest Gregg was the head football coach of the Green Bay Packers. Dick Mozaleski was the defensive line coach. He played with Robustelli in New York on that front four that they had. That was probably the first defense known for their front four. But yeah, I played, and I think that Sterling Sharp's brother was in that game. I played against Sterling Sharp in college when he was at South Carolina and when he was with the Packers. And Sterling Sharp was a great football player. And unfortunately, he hurt his neck. He got, he broke a vertebrae in his neck that stopped him. He was on pace with guys like Andre Rison, Jerry Rice. He had the same kind of numbers, but he got hit one time and he broke a vertebrae, and that was the end of his career. It was over. I mean, you're not going to go back on a football field. You break a vertebrae. You know what that means? The next hit, you're dead. I mean, hey, look, I'm going to go out there and play. Doctors go like this. The next hit you take, you could be killed on the field. So he's like, damn. And so, you ask the question to yourself, do you want to go back on the field? I was asked that because I know Sterling very well. He's more accessible than Shannon, and I like him a lot. And so he asked me one time, Silz, if they put that to you, what would you have done? Would you have quit? Because I sometimes regret it. And I'm like, well, how bad was the break? And the guy goes, I quit. I'm like, oh, man. You fall in love with that game, dude. Does stupid shit to you. You don't think normally. Listen, the money's not the deal why you love the game. You love the game because you love to compete. There is no doubt it's my greatest love. I mean, outside of my kid, there's nothing I loved more in my life than playing football. Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady sacrificed his entire family to go back and play 7-9 football. Really? You look back on that. Now, look, back then you had that mentality. Today, I would never think like that. My wife, my kid, I'm good. My aunt, all that. It's good. Back then, you don't give a shit about anything. You don't give a shit about your health. You don't give a shit about anything. I can't sleep at night. I have trouble sleeping. Every fucking night. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I love that game. Pro football. Dude, I strung together 7 years of pro football. Numerous leagues. I'd do it again. How you doing? Love the game, man. Love to compete. Love to knock people out. I fucking enjoyed playing on Saturdays and Sundays. No doubt. Greatest game ever invented. Okay? Shut the hell up, douchebag. Let's see here. It's a great place to go up there. You have trouble sleeping because of the coronas. Could be true too, I would say that. Could be that too. Yes, could be the coronas. Prince says, football cost me 2 fingers. Oh, well, that's what happens when you hang around with Paisans and Italians. I wouldn't think it's anything to do with playing there, Prince. I think probably football cost you 2 fingers because you owed 6 fingers Luigi and he took 2 of yours. Hey, it's what happens when you hang around Italians. You're going to lose something. You may lose your old lady or you may lose 2 fingers. You pick one. So what's your favorite college stadium? You have the Orange Bowl. I love the Orange Bowl. I will always love the Orange Bowl. Outside of playing in the Orange Bowl, playing at the Big House in Michigan was fun. Playing at Florida Field, playing at Doak at Tallahassee, playing at Auburn, Jordan Hare. That Clemson stadium was awesome. Playing there, playing at Notre Dame, pretty cool. Let's see. Playing at Old Pitt Stadium was cool. That was pretty dope. Playing at the LA Coliseum was pretty cool. I like playing. That was in the pros though. I played the Raiders when I was with the Cowboys. Okay, that was pretty cool. Playing the LA Coliseum. Howie Long ripped the shit out of me. I had a boy and I had a friend of mine, Crawford Kerr. We're standing there getting ready to go out of the Coliseum tunnel. And Howie Long shouts out, "Hey, Crawford, that's your boy Sileo you introduced me to? You want to introduce me to him? I could eat a fucking bowl of soup off his head." Everybody, man, both teams just start laughing. I'm like, "You told him what?" Hey, Sileo, I could eat a bowl of soup off your head. Walking out, getting ready to play a game against the Raiders. I think Marcus Allen was on that team. I think Bo was on that team. That was a really good Raider team. I think Archell was the head football coach. Sills, I worked on high rises when I was younger. I was looking down at the Empire State Building. We were up so high, looking back, I wouldn't trade it for anything, but I wake up constantly in my sleep. Dude, that would get this. Hey, get this, man. So I took my wife up before the trade centers were knocked down. My wife was going up on the escalator, and it didn't have. I don't know if you guys have ever been to when the trade centers were around. So I had her brother with me, and we're going up. And you can't see. She thought it was like going to drop us off the edge of the building. She got so nervous. We were going up the escalator. She's like, "Get up, no." I go, "We're not fucking being dumped off the building." Yeah, it's fucking high, man. That was hilarious. Yeah, my wife will do a lot of things, man, but she got a little nervous on heights, I think. Says, how bad versus the Raiders? How bad versus the Raiders? Bears, 84 game. Whew. Oof. Okay. Yeah. 84 game? I think I think Howie was in that game. What's the first thing you're looking for, Sills, on Monday versus the Packers? If you can run the football. If you can run the football, that will tell me all I need to know about what direction this game's going in. If you can run the football, and by the way, did you hear Wayne Laravey? Wayne Laravey said one of the things that shocked him was that Carolina went in there and they were able to establish the run and they beat Green Bay up front. Hey, that's a good call. Elliott Wolf. Is that Ron Wolf's kid? Yeah, I didn't know that. Do me a favor. Somebody look that up. I didn't know that. The head of personnel up in New England, is that Ron Wolf's kid that Lonzo Highsmith works for? Hey, Brian, remember one of the things that, and I remember talking to Xander about this, and I remember telling John really likes Micah. They ran at Micah in that game, Carolina. The flaw in Micah Parsons' game is him not playing the run. Run at Micah. That's what Carolina did. They had 4 of their 5 O-linemen out in that game, and they ran the Packers over. Sills, my tech electrician teacher worked on Three Rivers. Three Rivers, I played at Three Rivers. I also played at Riverfront. Yes, he is. Wow, I didn't know that. That Elliott Wolf is Ron Wolf's kid. That's crazy great. I got to text Alonzo after the show here. 9 minutes. 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 to Battle Royale. One of the most intense. Let's see, make sure nobody canceled so far here. Let me see here. All righty. Nope. All right. Nope. Battle Royale. Minutes away. Be prepared. That wasn't Sil's fault. Okay. Let's see here. Little Marky caught a hissy fit blocking people. Again, dude's a cow. Oh, dude's a coward. I hate saying this, but Jerry was right. Run at him. Totally run at him. Dude, how much did Carolina? Let me go back and look at the numbers on what Carolina did in that game. Carolina ran the ball. I mean, I've seen some of the clips, and they were running right at him. Let's see what Carolina did in that ball game. Let's see here what in that ball game here. Let's see here what they did in that ball game here. Green Bay running at them. They ran right at them. So let me see here. Here it is right here. Okay. So they had 163 yards rushing on 33 carries, 5 yards a clip. Carolina had 19 first downs, was 4-10 on third down. Green Bay was 7 of 13 in the game. Green Bay had the pick in the game that was one of the big moments in the game. I mean, Green Bay threw the ball for 365 yards, 265 yards, and 104 on the ground. Had 4-2 a carry, but Carolina ran them over. There were 7 drives in the game. What does that tell you? 7 drives in the game. They were long drives, 10 plays or more. How many plays did they run? 54 plays? Okay. Oh, my goodness. This is going to be one of the most anticipated battle royales in recent memory. And I'm going to say this to you, too. By the way, I checked out Mark Holmes the other night. I don't think he thought it was me, but I checked him out. So I was going back. Should have took the fucking 3, guy. Should have took the 3. So here's Mark. Running out of time. I thought he was going to start doing whiskey. He was doing this. Look. Oh, Jerry doesn't want to do anything. And then I'm going to tell you, man. So this guy's emotions, the last 2 days, now 3 days, I'm going to tell you how I feel about, before we bring these guys on, I'm going to tell you how I feel about his Cowboys at 3-5-1. I was going to really do this, dude. 3-5-1. You have no fucking shot with that fucking current team you have. However, they go and get Williams. Why are they getting Williams? To stop the Eagle run game. That kid is as good as Jalen Carter. And he is a good football player. Carter's going to be a great player one day. Williams is now. Cowboys got better. Now, I don't know about the backup linebacker from the Bengals, but, I mean, you go and get the backup linebacker from the Bengals. Now, maybe the guy in front. I don't know if the Cowboys can win the division, and I don't believe they can. However, I do think with this move, they might be able to make the playoffs. Okay? Man, my problem, once again, with Eagle fans is that, and I know Philly 500 is going to talk shit on Dak because that's going to be expected. I don't really think Dak's played all that shitty, man. I think it's a precursor to that shitty defense that he has. And that, remember something, Dak has to throw the ball 50 times. Well, if you throw the ball 50 times, you put yourself in opportunity. Remember something. Dak throws the ball twice as much or 3 times as much in a football game as Jalen Hurts does. Why? Because they don't really have anything else. And it's not excuses. It's the fact. The Cowboys are not as good a team constructed-wise as, again, Howie Roseman is the one factor here. Now let's look at the fact here. Howie Roseman made mistakes in this offseason. He corrected them by going and making 9 trades since the start of the season. Think about that. 9 trades. He's made 9. He's made more moves now during the season than he did in the offseason. What does that tell you? Okay. He pivoted. Jerry's not going to pivot. Now, the one thing it is going to be a perplexing thing when we get all the guys on here in a minute, is going to be this. Dude, if you had Michael Parsons and you had Quinion Williams, now let's not forget something. The Cowboys will still have 2 1s in 26. They're still going to have 2 1s. They're going to need an edge rusher, and you get them on a rookie deal. Instead of paying 40, and you're going to get them on a rookie deal. Okay? And what has to be one of the most anticipated, by the way, the legendary John Morgan will join us at 5:30. Billionaire John Morgan. Folks, without further ado, I saw a man, and I'm going to call him the human seesaw. He was this on Monday night. Then, I think on Tuesday, there was a ray of hope with the move from the Jets. I wonder how he's feeling. And then there's the man who, by the way, we just had Wayne Laravey on, the golden voice of the Green Bay Packers. And he was saying that, without a doubt here, there he is, Mark Holmes and Philly 500. Let's bring him up here. One of the most anticipated battle royales. And we just had Wayne Laravey on, and Wayne Laravey said that Jair Alexander's best years are behind him. But Philly 500 has him tabbed as the next all-pro going into this second half. Without a doubt, here the fellas are. They are Mark Holmes, and they are Philly 500. Philly, how you feeling, bro?
I'm here. I'm here for the funeral. I'm dressed black. I'm ready to go. Let's start out on November 3rd, 2025. The Dallas Cowboys season died, and I'm all here for a moment of silence.
Okay.
All right,
Mark, how you feeling about what he just said there, brother?
But before we get into this stuff, Silz, I was listening to you talking about you playing football for all those years and how you literally can't sleep at night. And I want to say to a lot of these people out there that are Joe the fans that are out there always saying, this guy sucks, man. He can't do shit. I'm going to say anybody who can make it onto even a practice squad in the NFL is an elite person in the world. We're talking about, an infinitesimal percent of people on the planet. Hey, Philly, screw you. And the shit that you guys do and sacrificed for our entertainment can't be thanked enough. And there's not enough money out there for what you guys do.
I'll tell you what, man. That's
let's get a room right now. Let's get a room right now.
Okay.
I
Mark,
see the ass kissing.
Wait.
Ass kissing when he's trying to butter you up, man.
Oh, okay.
He's trying to butter you up.
No, thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait.
We know.
All right.
We know.
Well, let's start first here with Mark Holmes. Mark, you went on a swing of emotion.
Oh, roller
The
coaster,
Monday night
dog.
game, I was in there watching you too, by the way. And that is me when I go in there, Big Silz show. So when it is me, I watched him, Philly. Then you had
It It was
You had a
hard.
pretty good trade. I like the guy you got. I think you improved your football team. That guy is a hell of a football player. I mean, get rid of Mozzie Smith. How you feeling now post trade deadline? You're 3-5-1. I do think you got better.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, I'll be honest with you. The Cowboys are always a day late, $1 short. Okay, let's be clear. You think the Cowboys have a chance to make the playoffs? I look at it and say, I don't think they do. Okay, it's just 3-5, losing to Carolina, losing to the Bears. It's just too many teams that you would have collapse in front of you to do it. If they make it, I'd be happy as shit. I'd be surprised. But what I actually look at this as is that this is a building for next year. Right now, you're getting yourself a defensive line, and they're talking about going to a 50 defense, where we're going to use Osendigizua, Frank Clark, and my man there. So if you put that there, and believe it or not, Donovan EZ, he's actually coming along and really getting better. He's actually rating up to 79.6. You're beginning to at least get the resemblance of a defense, okay? Let's be clear. That game was an abomination. Literally seeing 3rd and long over and over again and just seeing him just every time get it. It hurt my soul, bro. I couldn't even think of what to say. And I think that maybe that hurt Jerry. Now, Jerry's come out and he's talked his shit, and saying that he's being trite and everything else, and he's the one to blame on this, and now he's got a sense of urgency. Okay. And then we pull the trigger on these two. We'll see what happens going forward. But this is better for the team for next year, without a doubt.
Philly, how are you feeling after hearing that and after the trading deadline? How are you feeling about
I feel great. Yeah, I feel great after the trade deadline. Saw how he did what he had to do. He swung for the fences with Myles Garrett. I totally believe that, and I liked that he did. I thought it was the right way to go. But it takes two to tango. He couldn't get it done, and I thought Jaelan Phillips is a great guy to come back in. You got to remember, we're coming out of the bye week with potentially 3 new defensive edge rushers on this roster. I think that's really, really good. Now, as far as the Cowboys trade goes, I think it helps them next year. Of course, he's going to help them next year.
You're so full of
this
shit,
year,
dude.
I'm not done. But this year, it's stupid.
No, actually, it's
because
not.
you're done. It can't help you this year. You're 3-5-1. Done.
Wait a minute.
Okay, what are you going to go from 40 points a game to 38 points a game now?
Well, if they go,
how long is it going to take them to adjust?
I think points against should help.
How much? By how many?
How
many? By 10?
I'll tell you what.
15?
Okay, again,
beat the Packers.
Maybe we win 8-9 games on the season. I agree. It's a tall task.
Dude,
but hold on, Don. Hold on.
You're not making the playoffs. Anybody
did you hear me saying playoffs? I believe I literally just said the chances of making it are slim and none, and I take the none.
I saw Mark hanging off a bridge.
But
and then it said, Trey just came through. Let me get back up.
You really get on my damn nerves, man. You Eagle mother humpers out here. No. You know what's so funny is you shouldn't even care about the Dallas Cowboys because you guys got everything. You got a GM who's out there trying to get Myles Garrett and everybody else. You guys just won the Super Bowl. Here it is. Your team just made some trades. And what's in the title? It's talking about the Dallas Cowboys. See, we should be talking about you guys because we're aspiring to beat you. You guys can't get us off your mind.
You know that I put that title there specifically because it's going to piss you off. And it does.
It didn't piss me off.
That's why. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? Look at you. I did it on purpose because I knew it would trigger you, Mark.
Oh, please, man.
How about this, Philly?
I know it's going to work.
So, Philly, do you believe that this is the story of the Philadelphia Eagles so far? Howie realized that the offseason, they couldn't pay everybody, correct? They couldn't pay everybody. Mm-hmm. The people they brought in were not good enough.
No, the people
he pivoted. Here's the story. He pivoted. He's made 9 deals since the start of the year. Okay? So he pivoted, and he's hoping that these new moves will cover for some of the things that they did not hit on, or the under-evaluating of some of the players like Julie Wingo.
That's where the mistake was. And I would have made the same mistake, and I think 90% of the GMs would have made the same mistake that Howie made there, assuming that those guys who looked great in the playoffs, by the way, would not play to their ability. Some of them have not at this point. But there's a famous saying. What is it? An error doesn't become a mistake unless you refuse to correct it. Howie corrects it, and that's a big deal.
Big philosopher now. Ooh.
So wait. So these moves
here we go.
These moves here are going to fix it.
I think there's a really good chance that they will.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And listen, I like Jaelan Phillips. He's a Hurricane. I know the kid well. I love the kid, as a matter of fact. Hey, Mark, do you think it's too late? Did Jerry move too late? Was it 2 weeks too late? A week too late? Maybe the start of the season too late.
It was the start of the season too late. Okay. The biggest problem with the Cowboys, this is what I hope. Okay. Like I said, I look at it and say it's too late. And I'm not putting any expectations out there to be hurt anymore. I've been through this roller coaster. If we win, great. Hey, if we don't, I'm going to say I look towards next year. But the thing the Cowboys have done too many damn times is just thinking we could sign anybody, a bottom tier guy. We can throw them all together and we're going to make a great suit. Well, when you keep having these guys on 1-year deals, they're not learning your system. And in the same way you keep changing defensive coordinators, changing players. What I'm hoping is that this will start to begin to get some stability with players, because the guys you bring in, they are actually sewn up for next year. We don't have the big contract battles with anybody next year other than maybe George Pickens. But George Pickens, one way or the other, is either going to be a free agent or he's going to be franchise tag, and we won't have that distraction in training camp. And you still have 2 first-round picks to start out next year. It sucks that we don't have Micah, but they're doing something with what they have.
Philly, I want you to answer, Mark.
We should start working on some of the Cowboys mock drafts, I think.
Because, you see him wearing a draft shirt there, bro. Okay.
Season's over.
Mark,
it's over.
Philly, let me ask you this. Jerry says he's the right guy still for the GM job, Philly.
He is.
He said it today. He says he's still the right guy. If you're the Eagle fans, you surely think he is, don't you?
I love Jerry Jones. There's been nothing better ever come out of Dallas than Jerry Jones. Jerry is the guy. I mean, look, Mark hates him 1 second, and then he loves.
Oh, I didn't say. Jerry. No, hell no.
You said that for Dan.
No,
right? You said that for Big
Silz.
Yeah.
Hey, 9-14. He's been since 1984 in the postseason.
I'll tell you a better statistic.
Tell me
a better one. A certain quarterback is 1 of 18 when going down by 10 points or more.
You know what?
Here's
you know what?
Here we go.
Hold on for a second here. Because I hear everybody say, Dak. Hold on, let me.
On Monday
Philly. Respect your elders at least, okay? At least let you. By all means, you can bitch slap me, but at least let me get a word in edgewise to try and make a defense, your boy. Okay?
Yeah.
The thing I always find funny is everybody immediately when the Cowboys lose, they say, "Well, Dak Prescott got outdueled." Let me ask you, what do you think Dak Prescott would do if he was playing against our defense? Because it's not the same playing field. We've seen literally everybody look like the greatest quarterback of all time when they play against that shit sandwich of a defense.
Even Jacoby Brissett looks stupid.
That's what I'm saying. Jacoby Brissett looked like Joe Montana out there.
There's no guarantees that he's going to go out there and do what Jacoby Brissett did.
Oh.
There's no guarantee.
You mean
let me ask
everybody?
We talk about this.
Are you saying that Jacoby
Brissett?
Are you saying Jacoby Brissett is as good a quarterback as Dak?
No, what I'm saying is just because Jacoby Brissett went out and had a good game doesn't mean Dak is. Aren't you the guy that sit there and say that you put consecutive things together?
Bro, name me a quarterback who hasn't had a great game against
games from Dak. You're both of your MVPs. Here we go. 2 crappy games.
And your guy never ever has any crappy games?
He didn't score a point.
He didn't
score
one thing you refuse, Philly. One thing you Philly.
And Silz would crush Jalen Hurts if he did that.
One thing you refuse to believe, though. One thing is you refuse is that you think that Dak is going to carry a football team with a shitty roster,
No.
or you think any quarterback is going to carry a shitty roster?
No.
Joe Burrow can't even carry a shitty roster.
Wait a second. Joe Burrow has had no offensive line for years. He had a crappy team for years, and he put his team in there.
Hold up. Wait
Listen,
a second.
No, Mark,
Hold
you
on.
let me speak now.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you this.
Okay.
Okay. Dak Prescott never does it. I'm not saying he has to do it all the time. He never does it. He never keeps his team in there when he has to. He never puts them on the back and keeps them in the game, even against Arizona, even against Carolina, even against all these teams, including the playoffs. And this isn't 1 year, 2 years when he didn't have a great roster. It was the whole totality of his career.
But wait, Philly.
Hold on. Wait.
He has to.
Silz, I got to say something here for a second. Because now you actually have to look a little bit differently at Joe Burrow. Because Joe Burrow was always getting jacked up. Explain to me how a 40-year-old Joe Flacco is reinventing the quarterback position and not getting hit, where Joe Burrow, a young guy, was. Are we saying that Joe Flacco is better than Joe Burrow? Because Lord knows he had 4 TDs, 470 yards last week. But every game, he just got the down. Every single week, he's having great games and not getting touched.
That's like 3.
Maybe some of it is actually Joe Burrow holds on to the football too.
Joe Flacco was a decent quarterback, Mark.
No,
He was not decent.
Joe Flacco is hey, dude. He's got a Super Bowl MVP.
I know.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for Joe Flacco.
He's going to throw for more yards than Dak is thrown for.
I respect.
I mean, you're downplaying Joe Flacco. He's a good football player.
I ain't downplaying him. He is.
I'm not. No. Actually,
here we go.
I'm downplaying. Actually, I don't know why.
The only guy Mark did not criticize in that
Monday
night game was
I'm
Dak.
sitting here on Eagles Nation here.
Wait,
where I know I'm not going to get a fair shake.
I'm not
Wait a minute. Even get a word in edgewise.
I'm not shitting on you, dude.
Hey, don't worry.
How do you think I'm shitting on you here? I'm not doing that.
No, not you. Not you.
Don't worry, Mark. Dak's going to be okay the rest of the season. Okay, they fixed his problems. They got him these new glasses, and these glasses will show the right colored jersey so he doesn't throw an interception. All right, and it's got a time clock on the thing so he doesn't run out of time. Here we go. Dak stinks.
My Mark, this guy's coming with props now.
I'm ready to go. It's a funeral today. It's a funeral.
Mark, best team in the NFC is who?
Say it. You know it.
It ain't the Eagles.
I think it's the Rams.
I think it's the Rams too.
Okay.
But you know what? The Eagles seem to get lucky because the Lions, I believe they lost 3 offensive line. Kind of beat down here as you're about to face it. And you got Green Bay, who has Jordan Love. So, it's sometimes you get lucky. And the Eagles, they've gotten lucky in some of these games. It's not like they're a juggernaut that's just mollywopping people. The Rams, they've been really, really good. But, what do I know? I'm a guy that supports the Cowboys.
Who do you think Philly's the best team?
Of course, you're going to say the Eagles.
What?
Why wouldn't I? They've beaten
he'll say this.
They beat
the Rams.
The number one.
So wait a minute.
They beat the Rams.
Okay, well, that means that Denver's better than you then in your eyes, right?
No, I don't think Denver is. They did beat us, but they beat us. It was luck. Let's face it. The Eagles let that game get away.
I don't believe Denver's better than you. Okay?
I don't either, but I don't believe the Rams were better
that
than
philosophy saying that, we beat them, that doesn't work because then Denver's better than you.
It's not just that they beat the Rams. They beat the Bucks. They beat the Rams. They beat the Chiefs.
I would agree.
And if you look at the NFC Conference, Silz, who's the number 1 seed right now?
Okay.
So to me, how is it ridiculous for me to say that they're the number 1 seed then? They're the best team. I honestly believe
I'm not sure you're better than Seattle after what I saw on Sunday night.
They're the defending champs. Well, okay, let's talk about Monday night, though. Let's talk. How did your boy not throw a touchdown or a point in the first half?
But it's not about But again, it's not about the Cowboys. Good? Nobody put us up there as the number 1 team in football that was going to do anything.
Was that good Monday night?
Nobody was good Monday night.
Okay.
Nobody was.
I see.
His
I see
tackles
no
were about
complaints
as bad as they could be.
That's 2
Playing
weeks.
Olay
Stunk.
ball. That
2
Calais
weeks
Campbell literally took Big Nate and threw him sideways.
I think that's
after they pulled Terrence Steele.
I think that's a great question that Philly just put up there. What's happened the last 2 weeks, Mark?
Last 2 weeks have just been an abomination. I mean, you played Denver in Mile High. Bad game for everybody. This game Monday night, I don't know what it is about the Cardinals, but I think the Cardinals have played 11 primetime games, 4 against the Cowboys, and they've won every one of them. It doesn't make any sense, but we just stunk. That's the bottom line. We just suck. I can't justify it. I can't find an excuse for it.
Philly,
now, if he was out there on the defensive side and he was the ones that were giving up 3rd and 13 and everything else over and over again, I'd say, yeah, he was the only one that stunk. But everybody.
I came on here after Dallas game, after the Kansas City game, after the Rams game, after the Bucs game, and all I heard was, what's wrong with Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts can't get a touchdown. He can't get the offense going. He can't do this. He can't do that. Now we throw it right back at Dak, and it's like, oh, please, it's everybody else. It's either.
And so, wait a minute, hold on. Did you? What did you know about Jalen Hurts?
Well, Dak is asked.
What was your response?
What was my response? It's got to be better.
Because quite frankly, we have
I'm not
one guy. Everything is all on one guy.
When Jalen Hurts stunk. And when he wasn't
I believe I did say everybody stunk on that team, including Dak Prescott.
No, you didn't say that. You said everybody.
Oh,
everybody.
Okay.
You refused to.
You know what? I feel like I'm talking to my wife here. Okay.
You better listen.
Where you say, honey, what's wrong? You know what's wrong. What do you mean what's wrong? What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, your wife is a very smart woman.
How about this, Billy? How about the lawyer answer that Howie gave at the presser yesterday when asked about AJ, and he wouldn't answer the question about whether or not that it was tradable and he was tradable. To me, it came off to me and most everyone else. And by the way, I've never seen more reporting on somebody who wasn't traded in my entire life with Adam Schefter and all these guys. I mean, he never, because remember this too, your owner was on with Diane Rossini on a podcast, and she was talking about, hey, we're going to do what's always in the best interest of the organization. And if that meant trading, I mean, for me, it came off like this, that we didn't get a deal we liked. It's better having him on the football team right now than it is not having him on the football team. Because wouldn't you agree, Philly? Draft picks don't help the Eagles right now. No. A player helps the Eagles right now. Do you think that guy's on the team to start the 2026 season?
Is he on the 2026 season? I think it's 50-50 because I don't know where his heart is. I don't know what's really going on behind there. It's impossible for me to really know. But I will say this. I think it's the responsibility of the GM to take and field calls on any player, okay? If they called about Q and said, we want to know if he's available, I think it's the responsibility of a GM to listen to any offer for any player. I mean, why wouldn't you? You know, so he didn't get what they were asking for A.J. Brown. That doesn't mean they were actively shopping him. It means he was listening to offers. If somebody blows us away with some ridiculous trade, then, yeah, maybe he would think about it. That to me is what a GM is supposed to do, no?
Yeah, no. Hey, Mark, I want you to do me a favor here. Give me a grade on Dak Prescott's first half.
First half, out of 9 games, he's had about 6 good ones, 3 bad ones. So a B.
A B. Okay. Philly, for you. How?
For Dak?
What? For no. Now I'll ask you both reverse. I got to get both sides of this.
Okay.
As he's in his like funeral attire over here.
Season's over.
Hey, Philly, okay, you tell me. Jalen Hurts' first half, grade-wise, has been what?
A.
Okay.
And here's why. I'll give you a reason. Because they're not going 4-0 to start the season if he doesn't play the way he did. And the fact that he doesn't turn over the ball is like really, really important. So, and then you look at the last 2 games, you can say, okay, it's Giants, but he went out and he played well. So I think Hurts is actually, he's having his best passing season, I believe, so far. I think he's got 15, 16 touchdown passes on pace for around 30. No, I think about an A because I don't
Well,
think
here,
if
if that rushing total comes up, those passing numbers will come back down like they did a year ago.
and that's fine.
That's right. That means they're winning.
That's perfectly fine. Yeah,
That's right.
because
That means they're winning.
Look how many quarterbacks go to the playoffs and they can throw 40 times a game in the regular season. All right.
That's what happens to Lamar. You know, he gets into postseason, they throw the ball down. Now, I'll ask you, give me a grade for Dak in the first half, and I'll ask Mark about Hurts. You tell me.
Me?
Yeah.
I give Dak a C. A C.
A C.
A C.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mark.
because I think he's played good a few games, but I think that there's other games where he stunk and they should have won. And every team that is a playoff contender, they lose. And he never helps. Not to mention he should have about 20 interceptions. I've never seen so many people have balls go through their hand. I think there needs to be an NFL investigation. With all the betting scandals going on, did you see the interception that they dropped the other night? It's every week. And I'm not lying. Guy should have 20 interceptions.
Okay, Mark.
Okay.
The first half of the season for Jalen Hurts in your eyes.
Here's what I'm going to say is Jalen Hurts is definitely a B, maybe even a B plus, because he does exactly what they need him to do. And that's being a manager of the game. They still have a good offensive line, although it's been taking some nicks. He's actually been asked to actually carry more of the load this year because Saquon is not running as well as he is. But you've got a great team, and you're only asking him to do so much. It's not every single week that whether they win or lose if he can throw 3 or 4 touchdown passes. It doesn't have to get into being a shootout where you are, you can play conservative football. And there's a big difference of having to say, we got to score every single time. And when you have to score and have to have that mentality, you're going to have to take a lot more chances because you've got no other hope of your defense stopping anybody. You can play the game differently.
Yeah, like quarterbacks all don't have the approach that we got to score every time on the field. Okay, for a game manager, the guy has 2 less touchdowns than your guy that's supposed to be this prolific passer. Please with the bullshit.
All right, Mark, start with you, then we'll go to Philly here. Rate your trade that you had with the Jets.
See, here's the thing with the trade with the Jets, okay? I actually look at this because second-round picks suck. You can look at the last 15 years, you can say you got 3 players out of it, where it's really just hit or miss. But I don't know that you can look at this trade and say just this, because this trade started with Micah Parsons. Because trading him, basically you say, okay, you could have had Micah Parsons, in a $47 million contract. In essence, we ended up getting Clark. We ended up getting my man right there, defensive tackle. We got rid of Mozzie, thank God. And we still exchanged a second round for a first-round pick. So I look at this and actually have to say B plus and an A. And these guys that you brought in, they're sewn up for a couple of years, so you don't have a contract issue.
Philly, how about you, man? Your deals for all the things you got with Jair, the Carter kid, obviously Jaelan Phillips. Give me what you think of all the guys and what they did going into the trading deadline.
I'd say B plus, A minus. I think that Jaelan Phillips is really, really good. Carter, I don't know about. It's like yet to be determined how they're going to use him and what's the plan. And then Jair Alexander, to me, they're just taking a flyer on a guy. We have no idea if this guy even has anything left. So I think a B plus, A minus. I think they really wanted to get Myles Garrett. I'm a firm believer that they offered up the 3 1s for him. And
okay.
I would have done it.
You know what bugs me sometimes about Eagle fans with this is that when I throw this out there to people, you just said it. So wait, how he offered the Cleveland Browns 3 1s for Myles Garrett. What would make people think that someone hasn't offered 2 1s for A.J. Brown and they were calling and the Browns were saying the whole time, we're not trading him. And then the Eagles were saying, we're not trading him. I mean, don't you think, again, I'm not suggesting to you here that the Eagles were shopping him, but there were people calling for him. Do you not agree?
Yeah. No, there was. We've heard reports. But see, to me, the way I look at it is, wow, the Eagles, they value A.J. Brown. He's still a part of this team. They want him a part of this team. That's a good sign. That's a very, very good sign to me going forward. This isn't a TO situation. This isn't something where everybody's burnt the bridge. He's still important to them, and they want him on the team. That's how I look at it.
Not the quarterback aside. Couple last one, guys. Not the quarterback aside, Mark. In your opinion, for them to have a good second half of the season here, I'm talking Cowboys here, who's the one player that has to play well and maybe above his pay grade for them to be able to have a shooter's chance, let's just say, at getting 500 or getting above? Who do you think has to be that guy?
Oh, shit. I think I kind of have to. I mean, there's so many guys that we need everybody, first of all, to be honest with you. And it's hard to go ahead and say just one guy. But I'm going to have to say it's actually got to be Tyler Guyton. Our left tackle cannot keep getting beat over and over again. You got to give the quarterback. And you can talk about how bad Dak played. Dak was pressured 19 times on 41 dropbacks. That's tough for anybody to go ahead and evaluate. I challenge to say, how many more passing plays does Jalen Hurts have more than 19 a game? He doesn't. But if we can solidify that left tackle and be able to run the football, that's going to help this offense tremendously. I don't know how much better this defense will be, but it's got to be better than what it was. Just get Sam Williams off the freaking field, and that'll help, as well as Deron Bland. I don't know what's going on with that guy, but the defense will be a little bit better. Maybe they end up dropping 7 points less a game, and that might be enough to go ahead and get some wins. And you never know who might get hurt.
No. The war of attrition in the NFL is still out there. I mean, I heard the Eagles 2 years ago when they were 10-1, everyone telling me they're fucking great and there was a nuclear meltdown. I'm not saying that's happening here with Philly, but we've seen teams. I didn't say that your team's melting down, Philly. I said we've seen other teams too melt down in the second half of the season and go the other way with a key injury. I'm like, it's part of the conversation. Look at Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft is one of the most important players in that Green Bay offense. Okay, you're going to try to tell me that hasn't changed the dynamic of Green Bay on Monday night?
True.
Of course it's changed the dynamic of the team. But that's not an excuse. It's part of the NFL.
Right.
For you, Philly, AJ, Barkley, who do you think has to have who do you think has to play great in the second half of the season? I'll add one more. Jalen Carter, Barkley, or AJ?
I still think Barkley. Because if Barkley's running the way like we seen him last year, I just think that team's very hard to beat, very hard to get off the field, very hard to stop him offensively. It opens up everything else. And Barkley, when he's on, the team's another level. So I would say Saquon. And for Cowboys, I would have to say Dak. Dak has got to be better. He hasn't been good enough to carry that team with that offense that he has around him. All those skilled players, he's just not getting it done.
But Philly, you got to take in consideration. You and I both know the reason why the Eagles. This is no hate or no bullshit. Without that offensive line and your defensive line last year, you're not winning the Super Bowl. That is the key to everything. If you can get enough pressure on the quarterback,
I agree.
It's going to be hard sledding. And what we've seen, the up and down on this offensive line with so many guys in and out, and our tackle play, both of them were ass on Sunday.
I want to show you something here, though, Mark, that shows you, again, what you're saying about Josh Sweat and how much they miss him.
Mm-hmm.
When they put Walter Nolan in that game on Monday night, he was a fucking force. But guess who was also all over the field? Was Josh Sweat.
Yeah.
So that's what Philly has missed. Philly's missed that guy next to Carter that helps Carter make that move and be that guy Carter can be. Do you not agree, Philly, that, they both have missed one another, even though Sweat's played pretty well in Arizona? Would you not agree that Jalen Carter misses Josh Sweat this year?
No.
And that's why maybe the Jaelan Phillips deal was important for Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree. Of course. I mean, Josh Sweat's having a great year. And of course, he's an important piece. He always kills the Cowboys, so they should have known about him anyways. But, I agree. And hopefully with the return of Nolan Smith, Brandon Graham added to that, and then now Jaelan Phillips. Hopefully we'll be able to solve that issue.
Finally, guys, Mark, I mean, you've been on such a roller coaster here. I've got a request by people. How upset are you, like, right now with, is it that people don't understand the Cowboys or people don't understand where they are? What's aggravating you the most? Because people are telling me Mark's blocking people. He can't stand. I know that people get personal.
Bro,
I know what it is. Here we
Bro.
go.
This is the kind of shit that I get every day. If you were to go through my emails every day, I literally have 49er fans. I got Eagle fans that send me text messages that end up calling. Hell, I found out I got a family member that's here on my wife's side that's in the neighborhood, and he's sitting there trolling me and everything else. I cussed him out. I said, dude, get the fuck out. He said, hey, man, I'm just supporting you. I'm right around the corner from you. And it's like, geez. I literally think there's smoke signals going off right now with somebody trolling me. That's what pisses me off the most. And quite frankly, if you're a Cowboy fan, you should be pissed off that we've got an owner that is so arrogant to think that he can just do this as a part-time job as an 83-year-old man to run the team. And then comes in here after literally Stephen A. Smith had the death kill right there. And he looked at this and said, damn, I can't even do this. Bro, I'm out of here. I just got to leave you alone. It's crazy. Every Cowboy fan should be pissed off.
How do you
We all go through troll. I get trolled. Everybody gets trolled.
Philly, how do you
but your team's winning.
Phil,
when they lose.
Don't you feel bad for your guy here?
Oh yeah, I feel so bad. I enjoyed every second. I had Mark on my stream. He was crying. I was laughing my ass off. It was a beautiful thing. Watching Cowboys have to face reality that they're not the gold standard.
I'm going to give
the greatest thing ever.
The greatest compliment I can ever give people. Mark and Philly 500, you are the Shaq and Barkley okay? You are like Shaq and Barkley. All right? I think deep down you two guys really like one another.
Oh, we love each other. Yeah, I love Mark.
I think you two guys really like one another.
Me and Mark are friends, right?
But wait a minute.
We used to be, Jack.
But wait a minute.
Yeah, Mark's all pissed because I wrote something in the title. Boo-hoo.
But wait, I think what happens is, I think the Cowboy and Eagle in you, I think it fucks with both of you a little bit. No?
Well, we hate each other's teams. We hate each other's teams.
Well, you know what? We're getting ready for a Super Bowl. And that'll be playing the Eagles. Because, I remember that 1-15 year back when the Commanders
when
were
you beat
a good
Washington.
Team. That was the only victory. And that made that season at least, pliable. If there's somehow, some way we can beat you guys and we end up not making the playoffs, I'm okay with the rest of the season.
That would be like Michigan beating Ohio State.
I'll tell you what. Give me the wins in Green Bay and Detroit. I don't give a shit what happens. We're sailing home. We're scot-free, man. We're headed to the number 1 seed. I'm good. I'm good with that.
Wow.
But we're going to beat Dallas's ass. It's a Kelly Green game, by the way, for us. So I'm not worried about
You're wearing the Kelly Greens on the road?
In Dallas, yeah. How cool is that going to be?
Oh, my God.
How cool is that going to be?
Body bag game.
Yes. That 11-sack game. Let's throw some snow. Let's the Bounty Bowl. Let's get it going.
Listen,
I got some money throwing some Cowboys. Let's do it.
Father Philly 500. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you, everybody. You all have a wonderful day.
Mark,
go in peace.
I don't think you had I think you've had too much of emotions, like Monday's loss and then the trade, and you look tattered.
It's been hell, bro. It's been hell.
You look tattered. I won't lie.
20 interceptions.
No, I'm just old, bro. I'm 60 years old, man. I'm just fucking old.
They stink so bad.
Tattered. Guys,
so bad.
Make
Arizona won me some money this week.
Hey,
won me some money. Big money on Arizona.
You guys, check out these fabulous guys. I'm telling you, they are on our show here. We had Coach Brown on yesterday. He was a psycho. Okay. Now, you two guys, you guys are the Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal of our program because I
All
tell
right.
you,
We'll
I
take
love you guys on this show,
We'll take
man.
it.
I mean it.
We'll take it.
You're fucking
All
great.
right.
Mark,
I
get
do.
that VHS ready, buddy, so you go watch the Super Bowl. Be kind, rewind.
VHS. My God.
Be kind, rewind.
Shout out to all the Eagle fans that come out and troll me there.
Hey, guys, I'll see you later, man. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Wow. I got to tell you. Oh, my God. I give Mark Holmes a ton of credit, bro. He's on a seesaw. He is just on a freaking seesaw. Xander, if you want to jump on with us here, man. We got John Morgan at the bottom of the hour here, too. He just sent me a text. John's going to be ready to rock. So I've got to get Big Z's takeaway here on what he just witnessed here. And we'll ask Big Z his questions on day after the trading deadline and everything is settled as they get ready. Again, Monday Night Football, Green Bay and the Philadelphia Eagles. It looks like there's going to be snow flurries there. Let's go with our boy here, Xander Krause. How you doing, Big Z?
What's up, Big Silz? How you doing, brother?
Bro, you tell me, man. I mean, we've had quite a crew on the last couple days here, have we not?
Yeah, I missed you knew I was out of the studio a little bit today. So I didn't hear all of the battle royale, but from what I heard of it, it was pretty funny. How did it go today?
Oh, it was good. I mean, Mark is really defeated right now. I mean, you're 3-5-1. Don't you think the Eagles, don't you think the Cowboys were just a couple games too late on that deal?
Yeah, but I don't know if the Jets would have moved him at another time.
Yeah, probably not.
The Jets, one of those things where it takes two to tango. I mean, hey, I would have liked Jaelan Phillips a couple games ago too.
Right.
We're 6-2, so we'll see what happens. But no, I get it. I get why Mark is down in the dumps. Everybody's picking on him, man. They're losing games and all sorts of shit. So it is what it is. They're picking on me because I said Dak Prescott had a good first 6 weeks.
He did. Actually,
Yeah,
Dak's had a good –
like that's a lie. That's not a lie.
It's not a lie. Dak's had a pretty good first half. And just like everyone else, there's been spotty games in there. And every quarter, I don't think outside of Matthew Stafford, don't you think it's been pretty shoddy by almost all quarterbacks? Even Patrick Mahomes. I mean, dude, Mahomes had his worst night in his entire career against the Bills this last Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. If you look around the league, Josh Allen has had some bad games. Pat Mahomes has had some bad games. Joe Burrow is obviously in and out of the lineup once again. Jalen Hurts has had not so great games. Lamar, Dakota, all of them. It's true.
All of them.
It's true.
Nobody's been consistently great. One thing about Allen, like you said it, Allen a year ago was the most consistent guy for 17 weeks. You got spotty guys. Look at Hurts. He's playing well the last two. They were okay in the first half. They were okay. But now, you're picking it up in the second half. By the way, do you not agree with me on this A.J. Brown thing? Dude, he was fielding phone calls.
Dude, I'm with Philly 500, though. He's fielding phone calls on everybody.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. He offered 3 1s for Miles, right? What would make you think people weren't offering 1-1 and 2 3s or 2 3s and 2
4s? They weren't
4s?
giving that for A.J. Brown. Somebody offered him a 2.
I got it. Right. Well, nothing moved him. Do you think if somebody came in and offered 2 1s for A.J. Brown, he would have done it? Yes or no?
2 1s for A.J.? He'd have been a fool not to do it.
Okay.
I would be mad at him if he didn't do it. 2 1s for A.J. Brown? Come on.
How about 1 and a contingent 1? Starts at a 2, but could be a 1 if he comes to my team and ends up kind of like card. And by the way, people saying that the dead cap, didn't Howie eat $34 million on dead cap one year?
Yeah, well, he ate 32 on Carson.
32 on Carson. And what did that deal ended up getting you in the end? Carter, Devontae, and Cooper.
A lot.
Would you not eat $30 million, $38 million for those kind of players?
Yeah, it's true.
Don't talk to me about dead cap money. Okay? How do you feel about the Green Bay team going into this game on Monday night?
I feel like we're a better team. I mean, I feel like they're streaky. I know the Eagles have been streaky too, but I give the Eagles a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt. I mean, the Green Bay, it's like you really don't know what you're going to get. And I know their rankings look good, and a lot of different metrics on the Packers look pretty good right now, but I just don't know what team I'm going to get. And we got the better of them twice last year, so we kind of have their number two in a way. I'm predicting a blowout.
Oh, you think they're going to blow them out at Lambeau?
Not blowout. 10+ points.
Like a 28-17 kind of game.
Exactly right.
Somebody, we're not doing that now, but
that actually right there might be my score prediction.
So it's somewhere in that room right there, right?
I just feel like the Eagles. There's a lot of good energy around the Birds right now. I feel like they saw what happened in the bye week and feel like, okay, now you have an opportunity to really take advantage. I mean, what better way than not only to come off that bye week with everybody losing, but if the Eagles come out and beat the Packers and then the Lions, I got news for everybody, including myself, who was hard on Jaelan a couple weeks ago. He's going to be in the MVP conversation, and we're going to be the Super Bowl favorite on every sports betting company there is if we come out here and win the next 2 games.
If you win the next 2 games, it's going to be Barkley games. They're not going to be Hurts games.
Well, you don't know that.
Well, I know the remedy that you won the Super Bowl with. I got a metric of 2024. That wasn't the quarterback who did it a year ago. That was Barkley that did it. That's the metric, dude.
All right, we got the 6-2. I mean, we got the 6-2 this year, beating the Rams and the Chiefs, and Barkley had under 80.
Okay, wait. You won a Super Bowl with the Barkley formula, not the Hurts formula.
Yeah, but why are you acting like last year's permanent?
Because that's how you won the Super Bowl, not throwing the ball.
Who's been a bigger part of the 6-2 start, Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley?
Okay, and I think it's wobbly. And I still think the Rams.
Okay, as you just pointed out, though, every team is wobbly.
Okay,
literally everyone.
I actually think the Rams are better. But again, and when people fire back, we beat the Rams. I'm like, okay, then Denver's better than you. And some of your metrics, not you. I'm talking like some people again. Okay. How much impact do you think? Oh, wait, before I do that, what would you? I don't think you heard Wayne Laravey say about Jair Alexander.
No, I didn't. What'd he say?
Okay. Well, he was in Green Bay, right?
Yeah, he had a great career in Green Bay.
Yeah. And he said that ever since a Seattle game where he blew up his shoulder, he has just never been the same player. And it's affected him. And he thinks his best years are behind him. How do you feel about that?
Well, I haven't put a lot of expectation on the Jair move. I did something funny, Silz, on the Saturday show, and this reminds me of it. But I was looking at the Jair Alexander injury history on the show, and it's like he's had concussions, he's had knees, he's had shoulders, and I think he had is it an ankle? Did he have an ankle problem? Yeah. And I was joking, and I'm like, the sort of head, shoulders, knees, and toe. I'm like, head, shoulders, knees, and ankle, or knees and groin. So I don't know. The dude's got all these fucking problems. I don't freaking know, dude. I don't know what to expect of him. At the end of the day, I think the cornerbacks are going to be helped more by the pass rush than by Jair Alexander. Jaelan Phillips is the biggest addition to the cornerback room.
Okay. What kind of impact do you think he makes on the defense?
Who? Jaelan?
Jaelan Phillips.
Big. I think he could have a big impact. I don't think I think he can get to the quarterback a lot quicker than most. I mean, I think he gives you optionality in 3rd and long. I think he can, give you consistent pressure. I think he's going to help Jalen Carter. I mean, Jalen Carter, you've been talking about it. I'm with you. I don't think Jalen Carter's had a dominant season, but, we've had pretty bad production from the edge rushers this year. I mean, we didn't have the best edge rusher production last year. Our top sack guy was 8, and we are like way lower than that right now. So if you get some production on the edge right now, I think it's going to help Carter. I think it's going to help Davis. I think it's going to help Ajomo, and Nolan's coming back too. So I think you're, again, I'm weary of Nolan on how long he'll last, but I think you're going to get much better at the edge, and that will help the entire defensive line. And as you just heard Mark Mahomes say, you got a good defensive line and a good offensive line. You're going to win football games in the National Football League, and that's where I think people are sleeping on the Cowboys a little bit. I know they got rid of Micah Parsons, but I thought they got better on the interior of the D line with Clark and Quinnen, and then they got a decent O line right now too. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But
here's
I feel like
my
he's going to do a big impact
on Jaelan Phillips. I saw Josh Sweat on the field with Walter Nolan. Those two guys were fucking wrecking balls. And if Jaelan Phillips can give any kind of play like Sweat, Carter's going to blow up, dude. he's going to blow up in the second half and have that all-pro. Because did you not agree that those two guys looked like the best tandem in the league on Monday night? They were.
Can I ask you? I want to ask you a defensive question, and I want you to actually tap into your defensive expertise here. I don't know if Vic's system really thrives for edge rushers. And like, if you look at Josh Sweat, like he had 8 sacks last year, Sills, and he had a good season. I think he had a really good season. He was a good player. He has 7 sacks. He's got 7 through half the year in Arizona. Now, sacks aren't the only metric that matter. I understand that. I'm just saying, I feel like the way Vic plays, it doesn't ask or put edge rushers in a position to dominate games, to take over, to have multiple sacks. I feel like he relies more on the interior of the defensive line getting pressure, good zone coverage in the secondary, and beating teams that way. And that's why sometimes maybe you see run games getting 5 yards a carry. You know, I don't know. What do you see there?
I think that's a great observation by you, because here, do you think Vic would rather have a dominant tackle or edge?
I feel like tackle.
I do too.
Mm.
I do too. I do. I'm with you. I think he'd rather have really solid edge rushers that are more multifaceted, that don't have to come off the field, 5-6 sacks a year, play the edge. Isn't that what Jaelan Phillips would give you? I believe he's going to give you that.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned that he's had decent run numbers, and John did not take that well. John's like, he doesn't have decent run numbers. He's not a run guy. He's not a run stopper. I'm like, okay, John, I just saw a fucking stat somewhere that said he was pretty good against the run. Crucify me for crying out loud.
I think he is.
Yeah, actually, he's okay.
I think he is pretty decent against the run.
I don't think he's an edge setting guy, but you know, he's been okay. Well, let me find the stat I found. I'll read it to you real quick.
No, I think he's pretty good, dude.
Here's the stat. He's 7th in the NFL in run stop win rate, which is some ESPN stat. I don't know what it means, but he is 7th in the NFL, just behind Myles Garrett.
That's beating your blocker.
Right, in the run game. So, you know, maybe it's still not indicative of how good he is against the run. But
I
just thought that was interesting of like Josh Sweat, who I don't think he became better this year. I mean, I think he's kind of a plateaued player, and he's a good player, but I don't think he's like developing. And he's having a much better season, or at least a statistically much better season in Arizona, with definitely not as good of a defensive line there.
He's becoming more established. When you get older, you become more established. And you could see it in the play. I think Jacoby's becoming more established. You could see it in his play when he gets on the football field. Let me do an exercise with you a bit before we get John Morgan on here. Let me ask you this. So I went over there and I did my mid-season here. What do you think? And I got him here. I wrote him down here. What do you think of Moro Jomo's year? Grade 1, A through F.
He was one of the only ones that I thought your grade was no good on. I think you gave him a B.
I did.
Yeah, I think he's been a B plus A minus. Because if you come into not only the expectation, but also just grading the player in year 3 as a 7th round draft pick, like I think he's been a B minus. Now, if you look objectively at football and you look at all the defensive tackles, okay, B's probably fair, but I think B plus or A minus. I mean, you said it best. You really haven't had much of a drop off from Milton Williams, and Milton Williams was a damn good player.
It's $1,058,000 versus $26 million.
Yeah, right. And a 7th round pick in year 3, dude. I mean, I just thought you were a little low on the Jomo. I would have given him a B plus minimum. Okay.
Yeah, I gave him a B. I mean, I really.
Yeah, I don't think you were egregious on him. I think
there's been very little drop off. And when you not agree, of all the players that they've replaced, he's had the least amount of drop off at that position.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. I mean, certainly not the loss of Josh Sweat on the edge. I mean, they've been trying to patch that thing up since the start of the year.
Right. What about Jordan Davis?
B minus. C
okay,
plus.
I went C plus B minus there.
Yeah, I could go. I mean, I think a B would be understandable if you extrapolate that he's become more of an every down tackle this year than other years. Like he's not only playing nose and he's not only out there to stop the run.
Well, he's done other context. Their defense is 23rd.
Yeah, which is true. I mean, you know, I don't think
I think the offense has killed them.
Yeah, I don't think that's – I mean, I know it's not great, but at the end of the day, like – I can't use Myles Garrett because their defense is number one, but I feel like the defense is the unit, like I can't blame Jordan Davis because Adoree Jackson can't cover a traffic cone. I can't, you know what I mean? It's tough for me to kind of look at it all and say that, but I think Jordan's been good. I'll tell you this much. I would pay him. That's how I feel about him now.
You would pay him over Moro Jomo.
Ideally, you'd like to pay both, but I mean, I don't think you're going to pay all of them with Carter. So and
with the addition of Phillips.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting what they do with that.
Oh,
edge.
you bet.
They're going to let everybody go.
Great off-season content.
What are they going to do there?
I know. I mean, well, I think it's all going to be indicative of two players, Nolan and Phillips' play, on what they do moving forward.
Yeah, but who's the only one who would be gone next year? The only one who'd be gone next year if they don't get a deal done would be not Nolan. No, one's on his.
I'm not paying him.
No, but he's under contract.
Oh yeah, I got. But
yeah,
are you? I mean, the 5th-year option on him. Are you picking that up even?
How much is that going to be? $25 million?
Yeah, something like that. 19, 20 million, something in there.
It might be higher than that, dude. Think about the contract.
Okay. I'm not giving him a 5th-year option. Would you give Nolan Smith a 5th-year option?
How do they do 5th-year options? Is it based on draft spot or position?
It's based on tiers. If you're an all-pro, it's a tier 1, and it's in the $22, $23 million.
Right. It's based on playing time, Pro Bowls, and things like that. Well, that's again, for people who say nobody cares about Pro Bowls, Sileo has been trying to tell you guys that it doesn't.
Right. It's in the contract, and it's in the 5th-year option.
Nolan's basic 5th-year option, because he hasn't met the playing time thresholds or the Pro Bowl thresholds, is $14.9 million, $15 million.
That's not egregious.
I would pick that up. I'd pick that up.
That's
the reason that Howie wouldn't pick it up is actually not because of that number. It's because you can't manipulate that on the capital.
That's right.
Right. That's Howie hates that.
Jalen Carter's first half grade, I gave him a C+.
Yeah, I think that's generous. No, I think that's about right. I mean, if you factor in, I know expectations aren't the only thing you can go off, but I do factor in expectations. Like, I thought Jalen Carter was going to come in and dominate the league this year. He has not done that. He's missed 25% of the game so far. He's missed 2 out of 8 games. In the games he's been an impact, but he hasn't been a dominant force. You're still waiting to see it many times. He still looks like he hasn't honed in on his craft in terms of the fundamentals of the position. I mean, you even heard Vic Fangio talk about him in the summer. He's such a great player, but he doesn't even really know how to play the position yet. It's like, dude, it's year 3. Fucking learn. Like, get whatever you have to do, learn. Like, I don't think that's an excuse anymore. You can't just allow your talent to take you everywhere. That's why. Do you think Myles Garrett, as talented as him, allows his talent to take him? No, that dude does the work. Same with a guy like Aaron Donald, who's still doing the work. Same with a guy like Chris Jones. Yeah. Dude, like, come on, man. Like, I want you to dominate. Yeah, like, I want you to dominate. And he's good enough to dominate. So if you factor that in, I think a C.
Okay.
I mean, that's a standard for spitting on a quarterback.
I got it.
He's supposed to be a cat. He's supposed to be a leader.
I got it. He's been disappointing a little bit. By the way, C's disappointing. Zach Bond's play, I gave him an A-.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think B+, A- is perfect.
See, I don't give A+, and I think
nobody's A+.
Right, and A's are very difficult for me to hand out. I don't think he's had a year like he had a year ago, but I think he's a hell of a ball player. How about Jalix Hunt? I gave him a C. I'm seeing, dude, last 12 quarters, I'm seeing him more. I said that he'd probably be better by the end of the football season. I gave him a C. I'm seeing more promise. I think he's improving week to week, bro.
I think C's good. I think he's gotten a lot of pressure and stuff, and he's showing the flashes. And I think when you factor in again, like the expectations.
Don't you think he's improving?
Yeah, 3rd-round developmental player. I mean, so I think they put him in a tougher spot than he.
Yep,
they did. You know what I mean? Like, it's more on them that he's needed to get. If he was a reserve guy that was just getting a couple snaps, like, we'd be happy with him. So I think C's fair. I'd probably go C plus maybe from Hunt.
If he played last year with Sweat and with Milton and with BG and Nolan, in my opinion, he was getting the reps. I think he'd be a much more improved football player.
Yeah,
you know what
that's
I'm saying?
fair. That's fair. That's fair.
What do you think of Cooper DeJean?
A. B plus, A minus.
Again,
I mean, he kind of holds down the defense. He's become the glue on defense for this team.
I just love this guy, man. He could play in multiple positions. He is a force out there on that football team, man. He really is. All right. So, bro, before I get John Morgan on here, I asked John Morgan a question. I'm not going to tell you what he said to me about which, because I won't. I go, John, are you going to help do you see these coaching buyouts? He's like, absolutely not.
He's coaching buyouts. Sileo,
Hey,
I've been telling you should quit from JAKIB and you should go become a coach for a couple years, get fired, and live the good life, man.
bro, you get paid for sucking. I mean, look at these guys coming out the door.
It's incredible.
It's crazy. Hey, brother, I appreciate you. We will catch you in the morning. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it, dude.
By the way, we will make sure we read all the supers at the end of the program. Dude, John's been busy, guys, and I know you guys have been, listen, all the people we get on the show, we get the biggest names in sports on our program. But a friend of mine, and he has been a mentor of mine, and I tell you, I love talking with him. I watch him when he goes and does television spots. I watch him on his social media, and he's just absolutely killing it. He's been right about these coaching buyouts. Without further ado, let's bring in our friend, the man who basically owns the program. He is our friend, John Morgan. He's Morgan & Morgan. And I tell people all the time, John, it's been a crusade of yours, okay? Morgan & Morgan. I tell folks this all the time, God rest your brother, that this was a crusade for you guys, that you started this, you and Ultima, years ago. And it's been really something that I see it in your commercials. I see your sons and your family involved in it. It's really cool how this company has expanded so much and where it is today.
Well, listen, when you wake up in the morning and you have purpose and passion, work is not work. And if work is not work, you can do great things because you don't mind if you stay late, get up early, work weekends, and that's what my job has been my whole career.
John, let me get your thoughts on this college stuff going on. And you said it from day one. You know what? You were looking at the very beginning of it, and you were saying these coaches have to be on incentives. And I just see Brian Kelly. It's $54 million on the buyout. James Franklin's $48 million on a buyout. You're seeing a lot of these coaches now. You're getting paid for failure out the door. Give me your takeaway. And again, also, too, you got a governor in the state of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, that comes out and says this. The next AD or the AD is not picking the next head football coach. Politics and money, obviously, in college sports right now. What's your takeaway when you're seeing all these jobs and how much money is being thrown around?
Well, my first takeaway is this. I'd like to hire Jimmy Sexton to come work at Morgan & Morgan because he is the greatest closer, negotiator in the world. I mean, if I have a negotiation outside of football, I'm calling Jimmy Sexton because he absolutely pins these ADs up against the wall, scares them, pits them against each other, gets these crazy buyouts, these crazy deals. I read there's $185 million worth of buyouts right now. So Jimmy Sexton, you deserve every penny you get because you are the Scott Boras of football, college football coaches. So my take is this. First of all, as you know, I was very upset when Dan Mullen was fired. In this day and age, I don't think you need the great coach like the Lou Saban or the Nick Saban, or Lou Saban, I was thinking about you, or Bobby Bowden. once upon a time, when Bear Bryant walked into the kids' living room, Jesus might have walked in instead. That's how big it was. With NIL and portal, Jesus take the wheel, because we don't need that anymore. This is the highest bidder. If I was an AD, here's what I would do. I'd find somebody capable, somebody good with X's and O's, and I would do something that's never been done before. I would say, like at Morgan & Morgan, I don't win any money. I don't get any money unless I win. So I'd say, look, here's what we're going to do. Young coach, we're going to put you in charge. We're going to give you no contract except for 1 year. We're going to pay you $100,000 for every win, or $200,000. And if you hit other benchmarks like this, and this, we'll pay you $10 million. If you win the national championship, we will pay you $10 million. But to recycling these Brian Kellys and Jimmy, the FSU guy, who they're even talking about him now. Jimmy Fisher, you don't need to do it. There are coaches out there who would do it for free because they coach Pop Warner for free over here all the time in Sanford. There's enough coaches out there that would say, you know what? I'll take that deal. I'll take that deal. And I think they would do just as well, especially with the NIL and the portal. But, Lane Kiffin is going to get a very similar type of deal. They will have the definition of insanity. You know what the definition of insanity is?
You keep doing it over and over again.
So it's getting ready to happen with Lane Kiffin, except on steroids. He can go wherever he wants. And look, I love the guy's swag. And I don't blame him. The AD at Florida extended, Napier's deal. I mean, Napier, he wasn't ready for prime time. And so that would be what John Morgan would do as the AD. I'd find somebody young and hungry. And when you're young and hungry, you come with purpose and passion and you work your ass off. And I would throw this whole book away and say, you know what? I'm not going to go hire Jimbo Fisher to come to FSU and get him another deal. I'm not going to go pay, the Penn State guy to go to LSU. Look, the guy went from Oklahoma. What's the guy that went the hero at Oklahoma that goes to USC?
Right.
I mean, it doesn't work. It never works. What worked? Indiana. All of a sudden, he's winning everything. And then what do? Here's $100 million.
I mean, John, people don't realize Indiana was the worst program in America. I mean, they've been to one Rose Bowl in their entire existence. And this guy comes from no place, parachutes in. He's now making $11.5 million. He signs a $93 million deal. And you're like, wait a minute here. It's like finding the diamond in the haystack here.
And I can predict something about that. He's done a great job. It's fantastic. It won't last. Indiana is not going to stay at the top of college football. And listen, for all these coaches who are being paid big money, their problem is the SEC is so loaded, they're all going to lose.
Yeah.
They're all going to lose. I mean, the national championship is really the SEC.
It is.
So they're all going to lose. They can't
John,
win.
you agreed winning the SEC is tougher than winning a national title.
Way tougher. That is the national title. That's why Indiana's going to get to float around out there for a while. And look, I think Indiana's real. I think Ohio State's real. But I don't think you have to pay that kind of money. I don't know what he was making before he made $11 million, but there are people just like him out there hungry to do it.
John, do you agree in the SEC? I call them trapdoor jobs, no matter what it is. I mean, Brian Kelly was going to win 10 games. He's winning and averaging 10 games a year. But when you're in the Southeastern Conference, this is what Brian Kelly never got. At Notre Dame, you can win 8, 9, 10 games. They're good. It's Notre Dame. You go to the Southeastern Conference, you go to Florida, you go to any of these places, and you win 10 games, you're going to fall through the trap door because they're going to gauge by what you're doing in that conference. do you think the expectations are too high in that conference when it comes to coaching? Or do you think that's just the money and the alum and guys in the boosters that are just putting that kind of pressure? You got the governor of Louisiana involved in the next hire.
The great thing I love about these boosters, most of these boosters never played college, probably didn't play high school. Most of these guys were guys who were striking out in kickball in elementary school. They're not athletes, but they're sitting there knowing everything about them. They got money, they're writing checks. It is absolutely obscene. It is not sustainable, but the desire to win is so intense. And I don't know when it ends, but I'll tell you this, somebody is going to do it my way someday, especially with NIL and portal. Look, we don't even know who the players are. I'm like, oh, he was at Washington last year. Now, that's the Ohio State guy was the guy at Alabama that Nick Saban didn't play. But it's like watching Nintendo.
And it is.
You know, it's like, who are they? You just see uniforms. We don't even know. In the old days, they were high school. Where did you come out of? Jersey or
Connecticut?
Connecticut up north. You came out of there. You go down to Miami. You get there. It's Dan Sileo. He's a McDonald's All-American. They know his stats. He's sophomore, junior, senior. You know, they know him all the way. We don't know who they are, and the stars are making more money than most of the coaches, and the coaches will tell you to run some suicides. You're like, why don't you run a suicide? Or I'm going to enter the portal and leave your ass. You want me to run a suicide? You want me to run a suicide? No. No. I'm going to let you commit suicide by running me off.
All right, John. So I'm friends with Lane. And Layla, his wife, is Monty Kiffin's daughter. And the guy I mean, it's John Reeves' daughter.
Well, John Reeves was a very good friend of mine. Very good.
I loved John. God rest his soul. John Reeves was one of the absolutely
John Reeves, when he was alive, he was always trying to sell me real estate. I get this email. It's like, number 7 was on his URL.
Yep. That's right.
John Reeves was an awesome guy.
Okay, so Monty Kiffin introduced Layla to Lane when she was working in the Bucks Travel. She was in the Bucks Travel and they got married. And now from what I'm hearing and what everyone's saying, that they're trying to make a go of it again in Oxford. So they're back together there. But do you think that there is kind of a push for people now in Gainesville? Is that the guy you would want to see take that job? Or does he stay there? He's built a great program at Ole Miss. Does he look at the LSU job? What job do you think is the best job between the two? LSU or Florida for him? Or Ole Miss?
Well, look, I don't know. I just saw it's 30 and 30 on Lane Kiffin. I don't know if you saw it. And, Lane has stopped drinking.
Yep.
He doesn't drink anymore. His daughter's moved to Oxford. Layla's moved to Oxford. His life is, but look,
that's
Oxford is not sustainable. You're not going to win forever and ever because it's just a different venue.
It is.
And so I also think the guy doesn't wear a visor for no reason. He wears a visor because his hero is the old ball coach.
Steve Spurrier.
That's why he wears a visor. And so I don't know. He's going to get an awesome deal because anywhere he wants to go. And, I think he'll go somewhere because it's just hard to get people to come to Oxford. It's just a hard push.
It is.
And look, he's done it. He did it at FAU.
He did.
Won at FAU. I mean, let me tell you this about Lane Kiffin. He went into the wilderness and paid his dues.
He did.
Can you imagine going from where he was to FAU Owls? But he did it. He didn't complain. So he's the one that everybody wants. But once you get that money, then you lose your hunger, and then do you still have that drive? That's why I would go to contingency fee coaching. Every time you win, you're going to get more and more. And by the way, if you win enough, you can be the highest paid coach in the history of football. Because if you win a national championship, you're worth $20 million if you're at Purdue. Because it's the odds of it happening are infinitesimal.
How about this, John? I've been, I talk on my Tampa morning show, and I said this about Mike Norvell, the head coach at FSU. If you get rid of this guy, and this is why they haven't gotten rid of him, John, you would have to pay him $54 million out of payout. Plus, you got Gus Malzahn and the assistants. It's an extra $18 million. You're talking $70-some-odd million. As a guy who has donated money to these programs like this, when does a booster and when do people start going like this? Mike Alford and all of these ADs, he's the AD at Florida State. When do you go like this? You guys are making stupid decision after stupid decision. Enough. I'm not paying it. Or does that money never dry up? I don't think FSU has the money to pay that guy off. And I think he's still going to stay in that building.
Well, look, I'd make him stay. I'd make him stay there and lose and lose and lose. I'd make him stay there and play to an empty stadium. I would say, you need to quit. You need to quit. But they're not going to do it. Look, I've given a lot of money to my alma mater, University of Florida. I won't give them a penny now.
Why? Because of Dan Mullen?
Well, not only Dan Mullen, but the deal with Napier. Listen, I told you I've been on the Billy Napier, not against Billy Napier, against the firing of Dan Mullen and then the contract of Billy Napier. Look, that guy's not ready for prime time. Have you ever seen that little coach next to him? That he's got his head shaved with a beard. And it's like a mini me. It's like Austin Powers. He's got like a little guy that's like 4'11". That's his miniature. They're walking on the sideline. They were not ready for prime time. I'm happy he's going to make the money. I'm happy for his family. But as far as the University of Florida goes, what you got, Dan, you got a bunch of these boosters who I call jock sniffers. Jock sniffers who want to be around it, who want to come sit down with the coach and hear what we're going to do next year. No. So the real question is going to be in all of this mix, because they're going to make this mistake too. Somebody's going to hire Gruden. They're going to pay him crazy money. Yep. And my prediction, now look, I love John Gruden, love everything about him. College is different than pros, and he caught lightning in a bottle, Tampa Bay, and he's going to find a job somewhere. I mean, he's out there pushing his face everywhere.
Dolphins or college. Yes.
I think it'll be college. Somehow the Dolphins are fine with McDaniel.
Well, here's why. It's because they don't want to move off that contract with Tua, because it would be a lot of dead cap money. So, John, here, Alonzo Highsmith is going to be interviewed for that job. Not a lot of people know that. He's working up with Elliott Wolf. He's an assistant in New England. They've done a great job up there, and Alonzo's going to interview for that job. And I told Alonzo, well, know this. Stephen Ross is already going to tell you, we're not moving off the quarterback. The number one decision, John, that a general manager makes is who's the coach and who's going to be the quarterback. If you can't make those two decisions, it's a job that's already pre-disasterized for disaster and for losing. If you can't make those decisions, John, that's not a good job.
No. And look, Tua, I think, is very fragile.
Absolutely. I'm not giving him that contract extension.
I don't think Tua goes the distance. I mean, look, he's had more concussions than anybody I've ever heard of. I don't even know if he would still want to play with those concussions. I mean, CTE is real.
Yeah.
I represent people with CTE. So I think that we're in a crazy time. I do not think it will change because people want to win so badly. And then they get this coach, and then here he comes. I mean, Brian Kelly might get another job.
Oh, he will.
Now, I think it goes against his buyout. That's the deal. I think.
So you think the offset money?
I think that the thing that LSU's got to hope, yes, the offset money. I think what they got to hope for, Dan, is because with the way you're doing Kelly, they're not giving him the money. They're giving him $800,000 a month.
Yeah, right. Billy Napier doesn't have, believe me, like you said, that contract, people don't know this. He has no offset money.
No.
They're paying a strict $21 million out the door.
If there was a cause of action for AD malpractice, I'd go get that guy. I mean, that's AD malpractice to have given him that deal. That athletic director is not ready for
Scott Strickland.
Scott Strickland is not ready for that job. And so, but there it is. And now you're going to have all these people out there. And I don't know where Kelly would go. The thing that you have to hope for as a team that it got, look, Brian Kelly didn't belong there. Brian Kelly goes down there. The first time he gets down, he gets in front of a microphone and he starts talking like a Cajun. It was like Hillary Clinton when she'd go to black churches and start pretending to be black.
I called him the Maine Cajun. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy's from Maine.
Right. he's a Northeastern guy. He's like, we got down here, y'all. We're going to, it's like, who?
John, I go like this. I'm like, hold on here. So this guy's at Jefferson Parish. He's hanging out in Jefferson Parish down there where Ed Reed's from. And this guy's going, how y'all doing? I'm like, this guy knows maple syrup. He doesn't know crayfish.
He's talking like James Carville, who is a real Cajun. He's an
LSU guy, right?
Yes, he is. But when the very first time I saw that, I go, it's not going to work. And by the way, everything at Notre Dame listen, I'm Catholic, you're Catholic, love Notre Dame, but guess what? Look at their schedule. Air Force, Navy. I mean, they don't have Stanford. I mean, they took the fact that they gave him that job because of his job at Notre Dame.
Absolutely.
Athletic AD malpractice.
Absolutely. Last one here for you, John. So I want you to help me on the college playoff. So last night, John, I'm watching this thing here and I'm going, well, here's the top 25 teams. And I go, okay. Oh, by the way, not one non-power 4 team was ranked in the top 25. I'm like, well, how are you getting Memphis in then? And so you got to put Memphis in. And so they go, well, they're a non-power. Okay, so wait a minute. The committee doesn't think that Memphis is good enough to be in their top 25 poll. However, I'm supposed to eat and believe that Memphis is going to get a seat at the table. So you're admitting the flaw in the way you pick your teams, where it's a rigged system. They don't believe you're good enough in the top 25, but hey, we got to put you in here. And then I looked at Texas and I'm like, Texas went to Gainesville and got boat raced by a team with a coach who was on a respirator. And I'm going like, wait a minute here. Somebody help me with this college football playoff, because I'm just not getting it, John. I mean, anytime you have a beauty contest and you have people selecting teams, you're always going to have politics. So I think this system is rigged. I don't think it's a fair system for like who is really going to be the national champion.
The problem you're talking about is what I call the Boise State problem. Remember when they were always undefeated?
Yep.
And they're like, boy, they're playing on blue grass with yellow balls. And it's like Charlie Finley had the Oakland A's had come back from the grave, and they're like, you can't even turn the TV. What's going on with the TV? And then they were like, we're 10-0. The problem is the SEC they have overpowered.
Oh, yes.
Conference. The only team not there is Ohio State.
Right.
I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they're thinking. Meanwhile, Duke is beating Clemson because the ACC is nothing.
I agree. It kills my team because, in my opinion, though, it kills the University of Miami is playing.
Well, your boy at Miami, he's on life support too, but but he's got a buyout.
$63 million.
Coach of Miami.
Yeah, Mario Cristobal. Yeah. But John, who are you gonna hire? And remember something. I tell people this about Mario. Okay, Miami hasn't had back-to-back 10-win seasons in 22 years. I mean, if you're expecting people that Lane Kiffin's going to take that job, Lane's never coaching in the ACC. That's
Well,
not
Lane's never going to Miami. He's already been at FAU. And
Yeah,
look,
he's not doing that.
Listen, when Miami's playing and they're decent, the stadium's half filled. He's not going to go for that.
No way.
It's not a college football town.
No.
It's not a Major League Baseball town either. No. But it's what it is. 185 million buyouts, and that doesn't even count guys like your guys and other people that are kind of on the bubble, but they tend to learn nothing. The reason they don't, it's the jock sniffer boosters who want to be around it. You know, we got people putting their name on the athletic department. Like, and I'd like to know if all these ADs, did they ever play themselves? Did Strick? I don't know the answer. No. I mean, how does he become the athletic director if he never played the game? So, and then he's being pushed by boosters who want to win, who want to be. Listen, I've been invited so many times to have lunches and dinners with the college coach. I have zero interest in going to a luncheon and having a guy BS me about and showing like I'm at like we're friends and we're talking about X's and O's. I don't know it.
John, how many people politically and sports-wise want a seat at the table with you on a daily basis?
All the time. But listen, these guys have made a mistake, but guess who's made the biggest mistake in all of football? And he'll die with this. Jerry Jones. His legacy is going to be, I was so selfish that when Jimmy left, it was going to be me. That's the guy whose legacy. Now, on the other hand, it just shows you how strong Dallas is starved to go see football and go to that stadium and do whatever you do there. I mean, he's the worst general manager in the history of the entire NFL, but he's having a lot of fun.
John, I tell you, man, you've got to buy a team.
Well,
you got to buy into a team. Do you ever think about buying into a team?
I was trying to buy the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, I know. Will you ever still think about it?
I'm having some lunches late. I'm going to listen. My son Dan, he gets married next week in Maui. So
wow! I'm going to send him a text.
Yeah, we're going to Maui on Monday, and Dan's getting married in Maui. So Shaka.
Hey, John. Tim Pernetti says hi. I told him I was having you on, and he goes, "You make sure you tell." Do you know how many times I've tried getting John Morgan's ear? And I go, "Let me tell you this, bro. Remember this. One thing I could give you a bit of history on: don't shoot the pooch. Because if you shoot the pooch with John's phone number, he'll tell you lose it.
Evaporates.
He evaporates. John, you make sure you have a safe trip. Thank you so much for always doing this for me and finding time. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man.
You got it. That is the legendary John Morgan. Love talking sports with John. Absolutely true. See you guys in here talking. Dude, that's good stuff, man. I think he's worth now $4 billion. I mean, look, dude, when you got a $1 billion, what's $4 billion? I want $7 billion. Man, I mean, I think he was offered. I think the Glazers came to him and they asked him if he wanted to buy 5% of the Bucks. And I think he's thinking about it. Good man, down for old Big Town. How about a down for old Big Silz? Out of 32 GMs, who's taking Hurts over Burrow? Everyone, not one of them. Nobody. Now, let's add injuries to that. Maybe half. Maybe again, you got to play availability into that as well, you know. A twist. No, but the injury has to be part of the conversation. Talent-wise, Hurts is nowhere in Burrow's league. But availability has to matter. Okay? Has to. Burrow didn't have 470-yard games last year. Dude, Joe Burrow's better than Jalen Hurts as a passer and as a quarterback. He's the best arm in the game. And that includes a guy in Kansas City. That doesn't mean he's the best quarterback. And by the way, he's in a shit organization. Stop with that stuff. Okay? Highest paid quarterback in the league. That's who. Isn't that funny? Get this. Jordan Davis's fifth-year option is based on Pro Bowls. And you fuckers keep telling me that Pro Bowls don't matter. Well, it matters to players and how you get paid. Okay? It may not matter to you. Okay? Hurts is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow. Yeah, keep telling yourself. And Joe Burrow knows how to set a pass protection. Okay? I mean, Joe Burrow knows how to read defenses. Let's just start there. All right. Got to pay some bills. Morgan & Morgan. You just saw John on with us. Number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. It's because they win. You heard John also say this. Hey, they don't get paid unless you win. Simple as that. Do me a favor. Easiest decision you'll ever make. Go to forthepeople.com/Big Silz or #529. That's FORthepeople.com/Big Silz or #529 to do me a favor. Tell them Big Silz sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
EAGLES.
Eagles.
Looks like Asante Samuel got a pretty big schedule ahead of him. Panthers today, Packers Thursday, Vikings Friday, 49ers Monday, Bears Tuesday, Steelers Wednesday. So he's on the availability list. Boy, Asante Samuel Jr. in Philly. I don't know. I mean, outside of Sauce Gardner signing, that'd be a pretty good sign for somebody. All right. Guys, I appreciate you very much. Thank you again. Hit the like button on the way out. Till tomorrow, 2 to 6. Big Z, Joe, thank you. We will see you on the flip side.